All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, March the 25th, 2025. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is not actually, as always, special tonight is Mr. Matt Potensky. How are you, sir?
How's it going tonight?
Shark 8 Matt, how the hell are you tonight?
Not bad at all. So,
Dave Cichon, the Beer Samurai, is on temporary assignment. He'll be back next week. We actually sent him out looking for beer for us, and he hasn't come back yet, so hopefully he gets some good stuff.
Is he going to come back?
I don't know. That's a good question. He might not.
Yeah.
He might have found somewhere he wants to be instead, and that's where he's staying. So there you go. But yeah, so Matt's gonna Matt's filling in for him tonight, as he's done plenty of times in the past so far. And
as a little nod to Dave, then this is March 25th.
Mm-hmm.
So it is National Medal of Honor Day.
Happy National Medal of Honor Day.
It is Tolkien Reading Day.
Yes, I saw that Tolkien Reading Day.
Dave will probably be a little upset that he missed that.
Yep, I think he will be.
He, like myself, is a huge Tolkien fan.
Mm-hmm, he is.
And it's also National Lobster Newburg Day.
It is National Lobster Newburg Day. You're right.
Yeah.
And one other one, it is International Waffle Day.
Oh, I missed that one.
You missed that one. So there you go.
I guess I only looked at the national days. So.
There you go. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you skipped over the international part. But as a nod to Dave, there you go. Those are the days. So happy all of those days for those who celebrate. So there you go. But I don't know about you, but I am.
Wait, especially for the people who put Lobster Newburg on waffles.
Yes, and I'm sure somebody somewhere puts Lobster Newburg on waffles. Somebody probably puts ice cream on top of it too. So
yeah,
why the hell not? It's got to be vanilla though. Vanilla goes with Lobster Newburg more than anything else. So. I'm kidding. Anyway, all right. You're drinking already. I'm not. I'm thirsty. Our guest is drinking. He's sitting in the green room. Let's bring him on. How about that? I was asking you. How about that?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Don't wait on me.
All right. Folks, please welcome to the show, Mr. Cypress Charlie Backman. How are you, Charlie?
Hello, everyone.
Cheers. And I have my Cypress glass today.
Nice glass.
Matt, you might want to go to your settings and mirror your camera so we can actually read your shirt and your glass.
Oh, I don't know how to do that.
You just go to the settings, click the little dial, and flip your camera around. You can do that. There you go.
There you go.
Wait.
So
now you can read. Now
right.
before it wasn't. Now it's Cypress. There you go. So how are you tonight, Charlie?
I am good, but I have two things for your introduction.
What's that?
Number one. Okay, and I guess it is sad, of course, because my uncle passed away on Saturday. But on Saturday, he passed away on Wednesday. But on Saturday at his wake, we found out, and no one, not even his daughter, knew that he had 2 medals of honor, 1 Bronze Star, and never even told anyone about it. That's number one. Number two, the best lobster Newburg I ever had was, oddly enough, in San Francisco at a place called Skoma's on Fisherman's Wharf. And it was the best I've ever had.
Wow.
No waffles.
No waffles. Waffles. No waffles.
No waffles.
There you go. That's awesome. I haven't had lobster Newburg in a while, but I do like it. I do like it a lot. I'm going to have to go to there next time in Frisco. And I don't know what the hell that'll be, but hopefully soon. At some point, for a lot of reasons too. But that's another show, another day. Today we're talking about Cypress and New Jersey, and probably some Giants talk at some point too that we're going to get to. But before we get started, Charlie, what are you drinking?
I brought the bottle over because I knew somebody was going to ask that. Mm-hmm. So I'm on a bit of a bourbon trip, and you can't even read that, but so it's something called 1712, and it's a North Carolina bourbon whiskey, and I really wish that they would have just called it a whiskey. It would be more enjoyable.
Right.
because it's not made in Bourbon County, Kentucky. And I feel that that's a little bit disrespectful to call yourself bourbon if you are not bourbon.
Yeah. Well, I think they've actually loosened the
They sure have.
of what bourbon
know.
is. Because as long as it's in a original American white oak barrel, it's bourbon.
Yeah, well, only
original charred white oak barrel. I think. Is
Right,
the
but
way
first
they
use.
write it
No,
down.
first use.
First
white,
use.
Yeah.
but only in America can that happen.
Right. Well, you can't be bourbon anywhere
Yeah.
else.
Well, no, I mean the Champagne region will always be the Champagne region. It'll never be part of California. It is
Yeah.
part of New Jersey, though.
Yeah.
Nobody ever knows that. Did either of you know that there's a Champagne region of New Jersey?
Oh, I was unaware of that.
I was unaware of that.
So outside, see, I'm a big drinker.
Is it
Outside of Atlantic City.
Is it on Edison, Nixon Lane in Edison? Or?
No, it's not. So right outside of Atlantic City, there's Renault Winery.
Sure.
And the Renault family used to supply the French monarchs with their wine. And so they had a Nolara issue all across Europe. And so they sent one of their sons to America to look for areas that were okay. And there was one that matched the soil. It's a small area outside Atlantic City, and that's where they built Renault, New Jersey. Mm-hmm. So there is a small section of the Champagne region of France in New Jersey. But, Italy would never let the DOC or DOCG change. I don't see why we would change bourbon. There's nothing wrong with calling it whiskey. Yeah. The Japanese can call it single malt whiskey. They don't have to call it Scotch. Mm-hmm. I don't see what the problem with, it's just a name. Right. Like Shakespeare said, a rose by any name would smell as sweet.
Right.
Yeah. Same thing goes for bourbon. Why not just call it a whiskey?
Exactly. I agree. Doesn't matter to me.
I was say I've been to a wedding at that Renault winery there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure I drank Weller 12.
which is
a real bourbon.
that was in the running for my one daughter's wedding.
This is excellent, though. By the way, it is 1712 from North Carolina. It is excellent. Yeah,
1792 over here. So does that mean it's 80? No, I'm kidding.
Well, that's Maker's Mark, right?
It's from the same. One of Charlie's favorites right here, though.
Woodford. That's my go-to.
Double oaked. Yeah. Well, you can see my everything back here. So that's for that. That's mainly for the.
It's even good out of a plastic cup on the train, though.
There you go. That's
as long as you have an ice ball in it. Proper.
I would show mine, but I have a 42-pound beast on me.
Lapdog on you. All right.
Yeah, it thinks it's a lapdog.
There you go. Matt, what are you drinking? What's your first beer?
So I'm drinking, keeping in with the theme of tree-related breweries. I have Elder Pine. This is Bitter Geezer. It's an ESB, 5.5%. So got to start with something a little light. So
I may or may not have 2 cans of that downstairs.
Yeah.
Does it have some hints of diacetyl?
No, it's actually quite nice. Yeah. Have you been to Elder Pine?
No. But ESBs typically have a hint of diacetyl.
Yeah, I mean, I think the earthy hops, if there was any diacetyl in it, the earthy hops kind of cover it up, really.
I believe it's in the style guideline even.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, it does have that almost light, British, brown malt edge to it. I don't know. To me, it doesn't go full diacetyl, but maybe that's what I'm perceiving out of it.
Sounds like something I would like.
Yeah. I got another can. Maybe I'll bring it by.
There you go. I went, since folks, those of you have watched the show or listened to the show for a while, Matt is Mr. Belgian himself. So I went all Belgian tonight since Matt was coming on the show. So my first beer is from
since Charlie loves Belgian so much.
Since Charlie loves Belgian so much, I figured it's perfect. Anyway, so
I like Belgian. I like Belgian sours.
There you go. Yeah. From Brewery Bavana in Raleigh, North Carolina, Sprout is their Fig Double. So that's first on my list, and I poured it in a treehouse glass. I figured I'd have to put a tree on one of the glasses, and I don't have my Cypress glass anymore. So, cheers, gents.
Cheers.
Oh, that's pretty tasty.
I was going to say I had Cypress pint glasses, but I've used them so much that I've literally worn the logos.
Worn the
off
logo
them.
off
So
them. There you
luckily, I still got the tulip.
There
So
you go. All right. All right, Charlie. To start us off, we always ask a brand new guest that's never been on before. The first question I ask him is, to the best of your recollection, what's the first craft beer you ever had? It can be craft-ish. It doesn't have to be craft, but first non-Bud, Coors, whatever beer you ever had.
Oh man, you asked the wrong question, sir. Matt Potensky, you know the answer to this?
I probably did at one point. I'm sure I've forgotten what it is.
So there were only two beers in my house growing up.
Mhm.
There was Valentine India Pale Ale, or there was Guinness Stout, the real one in a bottle, not the draft.
Yeah.
Okay.
The actual OG Guinness Stout. Those are the only two beers.
Yeah, like the
All right.
What-
So
Go ahead,
which
Matt.
one of those did you have first?
Probably the Guinness.
There you go. All right.
But I'm not sure because I remember doing the puzzles on the top of the Valentine.
that was the export stout, like the higher ABV,
Yes,
and
it's
quite bitter.
the real stout,
Real stout, yeah, not that
the good one
There
So
you
what
go.
I used
with
to
ice
drink in
and with
Bahamas.
ice and glass.
Mhm.
Yeah, with ice and glass as their filter.
Fish parts. For the uninitiated.
Yeah, what is it? Is it kidney or liver? Liver?
It's I forget what it is.
Something
Well, nobody uses it any.
Yeah,
that makes it silky. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Whatever.
nobody uses it anymore. But that stuff.
Exactly. What was the first craft brewery you ever went to? Oh, you know what? What the first brewery you ever went to? If it wasn't craft, because the first
It was definitely JJ Biddings.
was
I was underage.
Okay. There you go.
And then I ended up being the general manager for 5.5 years.
it's the dried swim bladder.
It's stuck. The dried swim bladder of the fish. There you go.
Dried. I would like to know who was like, you know what? Let me put this dried swim bladder in some beer and see what happens.
Well, no,
Decided
probably what it was is they probably got it from soup because like it makes all the proteins coagulate. So they were like, oh, if that works in soup, it would work in beer, and then they just threw some shit in, and
Hey, who first put bull testicles in a beer? I mean, who came up with that?
Yeah.
Well, I've never done that.
Rocky Mountain Oyster Stout.
No, I've never done that.
Yeah, Colorado.
From Wynn Coop in Colorado.
Yeah.
I've
I've
had
definitely never done that.
I've had it, and I must say it's actually really good. But you can't remember why it's good while you're drinking it. That's not a good thing.
Oh, here it is.
It's dry sacked.
It was
Right,
it was
yeah.
20 it was 20 minutes. Here's the beast.
Here's the beast. What's the beast's name?
So her name is Blanche, but she doesn't know it, so it might change.
There you go.
I had her daughter, so I foster dogs for Louis Legacy in Staten Island, and they're a pretty good organization. They're all volunteers, so there's chaos, but what are you going to do? So I actually have this. So I got this one on Saturday, and about a month ago, I actually had one of her children. I had Lucy, and she was adorable. So when I saw that this one was here, I was like, "There's no way I can't take it." And this is the perfect dog. She's like literally perfect. She does everything right. Potty trained, 42 pounds, so not too big, not too small. She's got some pit in her, so she's fun. Maybe some Dalmatian, definitely some Hound, and definitely some Pointer. And she hangs out at the brewery, and she likes everybody. So
Very nice. Very nice.
yes,
I
but she required.
I will say this, having known Charlie for a long time, he does a lot of charity work, especially with pet charities, food drives and raising money for adoptions and things like that. So that's definitely one of the cooler things that, it's nice to see you always just continue that work.
So I also have so I'm the founder and president of a nonprofit called Beautiful Edison as well, which we do a lot of different things, and that's been since 2018 maybe.
2018.
So that's been we changed the park over from regular to handicap accessible is what we started with, and then we started doing cleanups, and since then We do a lot of different stuff, including cleanups. We have 2 different community gardens, a 45 bed and a 55 bed on the opposite side of town that are in conjunction with the town itself. And then we've been restoring a lake called Silver Lake, which was abandoned for 100 years. It used to be an ice house lake where Central Jersey received all of the ice back at the turn of the century.
Wow.
And then we recently got a grant for the boat basin in Edison from a company called Lyondell Basel, and we got a grant from Target to work on our community housing. It was kind of even in Edison, it was kind of a little dilapidated, so we're going to replace some of the stuff. And Target is sending employees, and Lyondell Basel sends employees to help out. And then Thermo Fisher Scientific too. A whole bunch of companies send us employees or resources. And then we work with the town and with Clean Communities, which is New Jersey.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So what's 90? What's roughly 90? Well, if it's a Cypress beer, what's roughly 90%? If it's a regular beer, what's roughly 95% of beer?
Water.
So
Yeah.
if we don't have a clean environment, our beer is going to suck eventually.
Hey,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, you gotta pay attention to that. That's for sure. Got a quick comment from Mr. Brian Boak. He said, "Cheered Charles." I'm sure he meant Cheers Charles, but
Yes, I'm sure I'll see him at a Giant game. We always run into each other at
Oh, yeah.
Giant game.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah, there you go. Giants are brought up once.
yeah.
Yep.
We brought up again. The last Giants game that Matt and I were at together, we went back and forth between you and Brian. So,
Yep, I was there also.
yeah,
Yep.
that's that. Anyway, all right. So let's talk about Cypress. Charlie, when did you? All right. So you've already inadvertently told us how you kind of got started in the beer business. Obviously, you going to and then working at JJ Biddings. When did you start brewing?
After I started working at Biddings.
Did you
There's,
start brewing at Biddings or at
After that great interview with you in the salmon chair.
home?
in the
So
kitchen.
everybody always brings that up. So I had been working at Biddings for about 3. So it's my birthday. So I'm sure Daniel Dixon will post it somewhere. So I had run fine dining restaurants and more upscale establishments. And when I was hired at JJ Biddings, it was a new experience for me. And I had done an interview about 3 weeks in, and the first thing I said was, owning a brewery would be the dumbest thing ever, and you'd have to be stupid to own a brewery. And now it's 16 years later, and I've owned a brewery for 10 years.
Yeah.
So I guess sometimes we misspeak. I guess even the best of us.
Careful what you wish for. Exactly.
Yeah.
Or not in this case. All right. So you started brewing at Biddings, or you did some home brews first?
So our brewer at Biddings, when I first got there, he was a winemaker.
Oh.
And he only started making beer at Woodbridge. I mean, at JJ's, and it wasn't very good. And probably a few months in, I ended up getting rid of him, and I had to hire somebody. And so when I hired somebody, I didn't know how to brew beer, so I figured I should learn how to brew beer. So I read a couple of books, and I did a few like stovetop batches, and was like, okay, so I got the hang of it. I figured it out. So I started talking to whoever the newest brewer was, and it ended up being was there anybody in between? It was Chris. It was Chris Sheehan from Ghost Hawk's brewer.
Yep.
And so I had started home brewing with my partner, Jason Kajowski, business partner, not life partner.
Well,
not that there's anything wrong with that.
Your hetero life mate.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Well, I'm the godfather to his daughter. I'm the godfather to his daughter. So we are, whether we like it or not, we are bonded for life. So
connected, right? Yeah.
He's stuck with me. I'm stuck with him. And so we started home brewing. And I started asking Chris questions. And if anybody's ever met Chris Sheehan from Ghost Hawk, he's he's definitely one of the most experienced brewers in New Jersey, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
definitely also is a wealth of knowledge for everything.
Big
And
time.
I have to say that
I worked
he
with- I
probably
worked with
taught me
him.
about what happened.
I worked with him at one point.
He probably taught me about 40% of what I knew, and he left us and went to Gun Hill, and I was still brewing at home, and our beers were pretty good. And our friend from Uno's, Mike Sella, was leaving Uno's because I guess it was closing. And so I scooped him up because I was like, well, we know this guy. And so we picked him up as our brewer at JJ Biddings. And now he's the brewer at Village in Somerville.
Sure.
And he was originally the brewer with so Gretchen was the head brewer from Little Dog, and Mike Stella was the assistant brewer at Basil Teas back in forever ago land. Yeah.
Which is now, what's the name of it now? Beer
Vino, but
Beer Vino, yeah.
I don't think they make any
yeah.
beer there anymore.
I don't think they brew there.
They don't know.
By the way, I'm not shaky. The dog keeps rolling around on my lap.
That's all good. When did didn't Mehmet work there too?
Oh my goodness, I forgot about Mehmet. My good friend Mehmet. How I could forget about him ever. Yes, he did. So yes, and he was at NJ Beer Co. and then he was up at Two Roads after that for a little bit. And I forgot Mehmet. And
he did a stint at Cricket Hill.
He came from Cricket. He came from Cricket Hill. He was originally at Cricket Hill.
Yeah, and then whatchamacallit, I think he was at, wasn't he at what was that? Kuka. He was there for a
That's
while.
right. That's where he was. And Chris Sheehan was at a place in Newark also that I forgot about.
Port 44.
Port 44. Yep, that's the name of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually kind of a cool place. Didn't last long, but it was
it did not last long at all, unfortunately. But
it was a retired fire chief and a retired police chief from Newark opened that up. But yeah, it didn't last long. Unfortunately, it's a pretty cool place. But yeah,
no offense to beer, but if I'm in Newark, I'm on Ferry Street.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm eating before I'm drinking in Newark, yeah.
Yeah.
But cool. Matt, you opened a second beer?
I opened a second beer. It's from a brewery that you're kind of representing a little bit today.
Is that there or the
This is the Treehouse. This is their.
I would have Mike Cypress stuff on, but I don't have any Cypress stuff.
This is 10th anniversary. I was just up in the Treehouse Deerfield location 2 weekends ago, and it's it's one of their NEPAs. It's Citra and Vista. So the reason I got it is because we did the beer with the Nelson and the Vista in it.
Nelson and Vista was fantastic. Yeah.
So I was interested to see how this beer would come out and see if the Citra didn't overpower it or if you still got some of that nice stone fruit from it. So we'll figure that out.
Yes, we will. And thank you. I have a can of it downstairs. I'll be having that on a future show.
Yep.
But not tonight. I wanted to drink Belgians tonight. So all right. So now you're home brewing with Jay. You're running JJ Biddings, hiring all these, Rockstar
and Jay's
Rockstar brewers in and out of Biddings, right?
Of the time they all were, yeah.
And
I mean, and obviously they're still running popular places. Excuse me.
I said, and Jay's there at JJ's with you, right? Like,
Jay. So Jay was my assistant manager at the time, and he was bartending, and we were brewing in his house, and he was working at Ray Katina doing IT, which is what he's back doing now, not at Ray Katina, but his own company called Eagle IT.
Mm-hmm. Sounds vaguely familiar.
I think you might know something about that, but in any event,
what's funny is like half the people in the brewing industry have worked there.
Yeah.
But
we did one job, and I think we had like 5 breweries represented.
It's
There's some ridiculous shit.
We don't hire friends around here.
None at all. There's none of that.
I broke into 2 Ton today.
Did you?
I did. I did. I broke into Two Ton in Kenilworth today. I'm using their small canning line.
Were they aware that you were going to break in, or did you just go?
So one of the many Two Ton boys was aware. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, as long as one of them was, that's important.
Yeah.
But you're using that. Hey, you know what? That's a pretty cool little canning line.
Yeah. So I got a couple.
What is it? Twin Monkeys? Is that it?
Twin Monkey. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the three of us used it in that one batch of Rising Tide we did by you.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. But do you remember to grab the labeler, or you didn't need it?
No. So what's funny is, it's a couple private label stuffs, and they're gonna put the label on themselves. So not my problem.
Not your
Outstanding.
problem. Outstanding.
Yep.
Makes it easier.
Not my problem.
Yeah. So, all right. So anyway, so you're homebrewing, you're working at Biddings. Jay's doing his thing. You're running Biddings. You're together there. He's your assistant manager. What made you, and then when was it, decide to open Cypress?
So Mike Sella was leaving to go open Village, and we had to hire another brewer. And I said, hire me an assistant manager, and I'll go and brew, and I'll be the general manager at the same time, and I'll work upstairs. We won't have to share an office anymore. And so the owner of JJ Biddings and I, we didn't always get along. 5 years sharing an office the size of a box will do that. Mm-hmm. And so I thought he would have been happy, but he wasn't. And I was like, I could just start my own brewery, right? And he was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So we kind of did. And so we were sitting in Jay's basement, and Bill, our third partner and super silent partner, his wife worked for an attorney, and we were talking and joking around. And since Jay lived on Cypress, we called ourselves Cypress Brewing Homebrew Club. And so his wife, she actually just kind of did it on her own and was like, you guys owe us, you guys owe me $75. And she was like, you're a company. So while we were homebrewing, we went out, and so we were supposed to be brewing, but somebody forgot 9 pounds of churro, and so 9 pounds on a 5-gallon batch is
that's an important part of the equation there.
Yeah. So we had already had some scotch, though, and I can tell you that I wasn't driving, but I can tell you that the person who was driving, probably, I don't know what we were thinking, but it was like Sunday morning. And so I guess we felt a little bit more liberal. And so we went out looking for places. And so we go to this place in Edison, and it's a corner deli, and it's all closed up. And, if a place is closed up on Sunday morning that serves breakfast, you kind of assume it's closed. There's a sign on the side that said for rent, but it was kind of in the back. So we go and we start nosing around on this property thinking, we're going to start a brewery right here. And so the gates were unlocked. So I lifted them up, and
So he has a long and illustrious history of breaking into places. Just
apparently,
yeah.
Apparently, that's my move. I guess that's my move. So at that point, I guess I was out front with one of our other friends, and Jay and Bill were over on the side of the building, and so they had pushed the door open. And it literally just like fell open. There was no, it was not a very secure building. And so, like I said, the gates were unlocked. So we thought for sure this is just abandoned, right? So we go inside. So now the four of us are inside on Sunday morning. We may have been drinking. Someone may have been driving. And we were only like 2 miles away, but that doesn't mean that's not good. But it was 16, 17 years ago. So, cut me a break. But so we all go inside, and so the first thing I did, I start, looking at food because I care about food, and all the expiration dates were current, and I was like, guys, this is a current business that we're just in. So they all stopped and really looked around, and it really did look like half abandoned. I won't lie. But any which way, I did tell you this was going to happen.
Oh yeah,
She-
that's
she-
fine.
Oh yeah.
She requires love. But so any which way, so we got the hell out of there and we started looking for places. And so I'm sitting at home one day, right here. I'm in this seat probably of a different couch. But so I'm sitting right here. Okay. We got to be a little lenient here. So I'm sitting right here and Jay calls me and he's like, look up this address and put it in your GPS and go there right now. So I'm like, okay. So I put the address in, and so it's a warehouse right around the corner from my house. It's a minute and 30-second drive or a 14-minute walk. So I go over there and that's the building and that's where we picked it out. And so I had already lived here for 5 years. So this was already my neighborhood. So we literally opened a neighborhood brewery in my neighborhood.
There you go. Can't ask for better than that. You can walk to work in less than 15 minutes.
So I can, and I do a lot actually. Usually with one of these.
Charlie, you got really floppy ears, Charlie. Yeah.
Listen. I told you. She got beat up. So she got beat up by a makeup artist. She gave her a black eye, and then she painted her eyebrow all the way up there.
Gotta love it, folks. Will check out if you're just listening to the audio podcast, go on to Facebook or YouTube and check it out. About 31 minutes and check out this dog's makeup artist beating. There you go. Anyway, what was your name again?
I am.
She doesn't know.
So her name is Blanche for now, but it might and we might change it. She doesn't seem like a Blanche to me. But no, but so now April 12th, Cypress is having so I do an annual party for my birthday. My birthday is April 7th, and I'm 45 this year. And so this is our 8th annual one. So the Saturday after my birthday, we do an animal shelter fundraiser for the Edison Animal Shelter, not for the adoption agency, but so for Edison Animal Shelter. So that's April 12th. And I'm going to put some fun beers out. I'm not really sure what the menu is going to look like yet, but I usually, for the dogs, I usually put something special out. We do some giveaways throughout the day, and we do special donation tiers, I guess. Like, you donate $10, I'll buy you a beer, or you donate $100, we'll put your name on a can, something. We do different stuff every year, but it's always a good time, and it's called Drink for a Cause, and we donate back to the animal shelter. I think we haven't broken 1,000 yet, but we've come extremely close. And I usually get a truck full of donations because they like bleach and paper towels, garbage bags, kitten food, cat food, dog food, beds, anything you can ever think of. So I get a lot of gifts donated to me.
Let's make this the year you break 1,000.
Yeah.
So we've gotten in the 900s before, but we have not broken 1,000. And I think this is the 8th annual.
Anything you post, we'll share it on the log room pages and everything else.
Nice. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Definitely. Cool. And maybe we'll put it on the coastal page too.
There you go.
I'll say. But in any event, all right, let me throw this up really quick. Brian Boak, it's a while ago now. Maybe he's halfway through it, but he did comment that his first beer he's drinking is a River North Brewery triple. So he's going Belgian mode with me tonight. So that's good. But we'll see where that takes him after. Usually he has 2 or 3 beers on the show with us. So there you go. Anyway, all right. So you opened Cypress. Now, how long after you found that space, you walked over that day? Jay told you to walk over there or go over there, whatever. How long from then till you opened, which obviously this year is 10 years ago now, obviously.
It took us a full year to get our license because the state's extremely slow and extremely difficult.
No.
Dude, I had to drive.
Hey,
now you got to remember, it was 10 years ago. I had to physically drive a box of documents down to Trenton, and not only that, they fingerprinted my mother. I was waiting for them to ask what brand toilet paper I used because I just that had to be next.
Was your mother an
I
investor?
wait from left to right at a medium pressure. All right.
Was your mother an investor?
So she was, but I mean, we've never done anything wrong in our lives. Like my entire family. I mean, you could just like a simple Google search would have cleared my mom. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have to waste our time, energy, and money, and obviously all the taxpayer money on garbage. But
you gotta love it. Anyway, but I mean, I'll be honest with you. You say it took a full year. You know, some of the stories you hear, that's actually good, right?
Oh no! That I would say the majority. South 40, I think they're coming up on their 4th anniversary. They don't have a license yet.
Yeah, well, no. Anybody that's open in the last 3 years does not have a license. Everybody's on a temporary. Everybody that's open in the last like 2-3 years is on a temporary.
I don't understand. I don't get involved. I'm in my town's I'm in my town's good graces, and I stay there.
There you go. Brian just said, you know, simple Google search would have cleared you and everything else, except for breaking into buildings.
Never happened. He didn't get caught. Never happened.
Yes, that's true. Statute of limitations has already passed,
Yeah,
and I'm once again getting mauled by this beast.
Yeah. As long as you didn't do the clerks thing and drink all their Gatorade, then you're fine. Yeah.
No, but if they had bourbon or they had beer,
yeah,
that's a different story.
That would have been bad.
Exactly. Clerks,
or even wine.
And so
I used to.
No, go ahead. Tell your story.
So I used to be very into wine and running fine dining restaurants. I drank a lot of very, very good wine. I went on a trip to San Francisco once where I drank 300 bottles of I tasted. I didn't drink 300 bottles. I tasted 300 bottles of California wine.
I was going to say, whoa, that's really good.
In 4 days.
In one night?
Yeah.
4 days. So my flight was paid for. My flight was paid for. My hotel was paid for. And it was nice. It was at the San Francisco Hyatt. And the event was 4 days, and every night at 6 o'clock we would go to dinner, and it would be this ridiculous buffet, and they would take us by bus over to the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, and from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock we would taste different California wines, and so we had 4 days to do about 300. And we had free reign of the entire Museum of Modern Art, so we literally just walked around all day. It was an amazing time. And so I've always been just a in general enjoyer of alcoholic beverages.
Yeah.
I feel like my wine history helps with my my smell and taste significantly.
Yeah, it's your sensory analysis, it's and I would say, beer has a much wider gamut of flavors that you can really have. So, but if you learn it from wine, it's easy.
It's also more difficult. Aromas in beer are much more difficult. Wine, they're very pronounced, and obviously alcohol spirits, they're very pronounced. Like I mean, this is a vanilla bomb that I'm drinking right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
But
I'm gonna have to find some of that. Now, where did you get that down in North Carolina, or did you?
No, my cousin comes up for Thanksgiving every year, and she brings a bunch of goodies.
Gotcha. So it's from North Carolina. It's not like you can get it in New Jersey or anywhere nearby.
I don't know the answer to that. You may very well be, but I've never looked. I've never seeked it out.
I'll have to check it out because I love a good bourbon. So.
I'm only today's into it.
There you go.
That was my first and second drink having it.
There you go. Awesome. But yeah, wine is fantastic. I do enjoy wine in certain aspects. I used to drink a lot more wine years ago than I do now, but same as you. But I still enjoy it, and I have my styles that I like. But It definitely does help. You definitely your training of your senses can.
It definitely helps you. It definitely helps you be able to individualize certain characteristics of aromas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%, 100%. Matt, oh, by the way, my second beer, I just poured it about 10 minutes ago now. Bean Counter from Taxman Brewing.
Yep.
All right. Matt, I'm drinking this beer. I know you've had it before. This is fantastic. This is like,
Yeah, I really liked it a lot.
this is,
It's a nice label.
It's a great, I'll put it up again. That's really cool. Taxman has a lot of good labels, and they have a lot of good, really good beers. The brown ale is amazing, so much so that I have to give somebody a sip of it right now. So I'm handing it off to somebody.
So John, you're gonna laugh at me, but so I know my assignment was 3 tree beers.
Uh-huh.
So my long stretch is actually a place in Houston that I like to go called Brash. It's a smaller brewery.
Mm-hmm.
They do a lot of fun barrel aged stuff. They have a lot of spiced stouts and along those lines. And one of the beers that I did pick for today is a white Russian stout. And so it has a dead tree on it. But the label that you just showed.
Uh-huh.
So now wait. So the label that you just showed, okay, is very similar to all the rest of their beers. So almost all of them have gravestones and dead people on them.
That's funny.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I thought it was funny when you just showed that can. I was like, that's kind of funny. I was like, that's kind of their shtick.
Well,
Well, I mean, they have the skeleton in the top hat. Taxman always has that on all their cans, so that's like their logo. Pretty cool.
This is my third beer that I'm having. So, there you go, right there.
Yep.
Nice.
It was this beer was Jess approved, by the way. She
there you go.
if I didn't pull the glass back out of her hand, I would not be drinking it right now. So.
I like skulls on labels.
Yeah, yeah, you do actually.
You make a pretty good beer with some skulls on it.
I do, but probably my number 1 and number 2 definitely have a skull on it. Number 3, is there a skull hidden in there? I think there is a skull hidden in number 3 as well.
There you go. So why don't we talk about beers? So I talk about the beers that you brew, okay? At Cypress. What was the first beer you brewed at Cypress? Was the very first beer you released at Cypress?
17 Mile.
17 Mile?
Yep, it's a West Coast IPA, and it actually is on tap right now as well.
Still one of my faves.
Same batch? No, I'm kidding.
Definitely not the same batch. Same recipe though. Same recipe, and so that's one of the homebrew recipes.
You haven't tweaked it at all? It's the same recipe?
No, so that's actually one of our homebrew recipes. So that one and the nut brown, we've never changed from homebrewing.
The nut brown's great. I love your nut brown. That's very good.
Insane, we're on version 8. We've stuck with version 8 probably for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
For
That's
anyone
definitely our number 1 seller.
Anyone who hasn't somehow had Insane in the Grain, it's an all Citra double IPA, and it's awesome.
Well, so now it's all cryo Citra, and it's just called Insane because during COVID when the courts were shut down, Cypress Hill's lawyers still needed to maintain their mansions and sent us a cease and desist so they could charge Cypress Hill for their time. And so we got a cease and desist for Insane in the Grain. And so now it's just called Insane.
Wow. That sucks. That's ridiculous.
You know what? I mean, these C&Ds are just ridiculous. I always bring this up too. We mentioned Cricket Hill before because I worked there years ago and Mehmet was there. But Rick Reed, love Rick Reed. I mean, like the grandfather of craft beer in New Jersey, right? Kind of thing. He got a C&D. His like flagship IPA, and they have plenty others now, but from back in the day was Hopnotic. All right, it's Hopnotic IPA. They got a C&D from the makers of Hypnotic. Okay, that liqueur that's like that neon blue liqueur that you see.
Isn't it? It's like some kind of. It's like Alizé. It's like some kind of cognac, like
It's like a
ish.
cognac kind of
Flavored
super,
cognac.
Correct.
some
super
crap.
sweet, like ridiculously sweet, and it's neon blue in the bottle. It's ridiculous. They got a C&D from them because they were hypnotic, but they're hypnotic. I mean, and it's alcohol. Are you kidding me? It's one has nothing to do with the other. It fell by the wayside. It's still hypnotic, right, to this day. But it's just what you said too.
Well, that's
like,
when you just
Cypress Hills,
you're like very politely F off.
right. Like you said, Cypress Hill's attorneys just needed to make some money during COVID, and
Yeah.
thank you,
So
C&D.
the bottom of the bottom of the Insane Can, where it gives the date, it also says not relevant anymore, because Cypress Hill is really not relevant anymore.
Not so much. No.
Well, they did do the concert with a full orchestra recently.
Listen, what sucks is that I love Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
That's what sucks.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it might be a reason you called the beer Insane in the Grain too. I mean, it's like might have one hand and hand in hand there.
So obviously, I know every word to most Cypress Hill songs, but because I'm 1980 born, so it's just natural that anyone my age knows every word to anything Biggie or Cypress or Cypress. Yep, that's
Well,
great.
This is kind of cool because we have 3 decades
Cypress Hill.
represented here tonight. You're Charlie. You were born in the 80s. Matt was born in the 70s. Yeah,
1 year.
yeah.
You born in the
I
60s?
was born in the 60s. Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this might be a giveaway, but that's besides.
He's gonna be a grandfather.
It's a rarity that I'm the baby,
Oh yeah.
and I'm all black. I have like very little gray,
There you go.
especially for 45.
I'm getting a little. Yeah, I'm definitely getting a little salty here.
You're getting a little salty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I got both of my daughters are getting married this year, and one of them's 31. The other one's 28. So clearly,
Yeah. Yeah, I have no children, no wife, and my mother and sister live at least.
You have hold on. You have no children, no wife, and a bank account. That's what you have, right?
No, I have my own brewery in New Jersey.
Oh,
I have
I
no
forgot.
bank account.
My bad.
I've been poor for 10 straight years. I've never been poorer in my entire life.
It's like that old story.
You still drink well though, so that's something.
That's true. It's
I
like
do.
That old story. It's like that old story. You want to make $2 million in the beer business? You want to make $1 million in the beer business? Start with 2 million.
Start with 2 million. Yeah.
Start with 2 million. Yeah. Exactly.
Oy vey.
Anyway, all right.
I could use 2 million if you know anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. We're first. Anyway, all right. So you brewed Insane. You brewed the other beers. Let's go over some of your standard beers that you brew. I mean, obviously you've brewed so many beers over the last 10 years. I know 300. What ahead? How many?
On tap says I think 350 something, maybe 360 something at this point.
I know there was a really good.
But you got to remember that's just under my label.
Right.
You have to remember how many other labels I've brewed for.
Well, we'll get into that.
I don't even know, 500 or so.
We'll get into that in a minute. Absolutely. But I do remember this one Christmas ale you did. It was like a gingerbread Belgian double. It was really good.
So it's nice. We release it every other year. It's called Nice. We release it every other year. And this year it's a barrel age year. So this is nicer's year.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right,
but it's not a gingerbread double anymore. Now it's a gingerbread stout.
So it's been a gingerbread stout. It's been a gingerbread stout for I think 9 years.
So it was a gingerbread double 1 year, and then it became
7 or 8 years. Yeah, we did it.
Maybe yeah.
We did it at least 2 to 3 years. Yeah.
I think once we moved to the big system, it became a stout, and it also went from 10.
When you moved to the big system, it became a stout because I mean it made more sense to split the stout than.
Well, and it went from 10 to 13%.
So talk about that. When you first opened 10 years ago, you were a 2-barrel system, and then you went to a 20-barrel system. How many years? It was 3 years at the 2-barrel system, and then you went to the 20, or 4 years?
All right. So it's a 20 barrel system, but that's kind of a lie. So it's a 20 barrel system. It's a 20 barrel system at 13%.
Okay.
So at 5%, it can even be a 39 barrel system.
Okay.
So we've brewed 39 barrels with no issues at a clip.
You've brewed, so one turn you've brewed 39 barrels.
Yeah, correct, but it's got to be something like normal people beer, like a 5-6%er.
Not a Charlie beer.
But are you?
No.
But I mean, are you brewing? You're brewing a high mash and then you're diluting it.
No, not at all. So my mash tun is specially sized for big boy beers. So my mash tun can hold so much grain, okay, to do the 13%ers. Okay, but if you're only doing a 5%er, well, you still only need that 13% worth of grain. You're just gonna sparge longer.
Gotcha.
Okay, so you're just running. But I mean, how big is the boil kettle? I thought it was about 25 barrels.
Yeah. So because we make big boy beers, they extended that for us also. We don't really know why. They gave us they kind of, I think so DME, Diversified Metal Engineering from Canada, when they sent us our system, they made a few mistakes. And so our boil kettle can fit 39 barrels with a full boil. And then we were supposed to have 40 barrel hot and cold tanks, and they're 60 barrels. And so it was just more expensive for them to fix the mistake. And so that's what we got.
So you can fit 39 barrels of liquid in
At a full boil without boiling over.
Without boiling over.
Been like the biggest 20 barrel system I've ever seen. Like I always look down into it and I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I haven't been there for a brew all that often, but yeah, it's pretty freaking big in there.
I've had the mash tun, so I've had the mash tun so full. Because we do dumb beers, I've had the mash tun so full that I had to seal off the atmospheric valve because it just pours out. So I have it. I have it going up into the manway, like maybe an inch or so from just even the mash, just coming over the top. And
that's hysterical. That's great. Gotta love that.
Yeah.
Quick throwback to our last conversation, really quick. I just want to get him up. Brian Boak said, Brian was born in 1960. So me and Brian born in the 60s, and he has an 18-year-old granddaughter. I do not. I don't have any grandchildren yet. Matt was referring to the fact that probably soon, but
and what colors Brian's hair?
It's blonde. It's not as gray as mine, and he's older.
Not as black as mine.
Too, yeah.
Somewhere in the middle.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But yeah, if you go by hair between the four of us, I look the oldest, but that's besides the point. All right. All right. So when was it? So how long after you opened with the 2-barrel system did you switch to this hybrid 20/40 barrel system?
About 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
And we added 3 40-barrel fermenters and a 40-barrel bright tank, and what we thought was 2 40-barrel hot and cold, and they were 60s instead.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it worked out. Everything worked out.
And you got like the world's most amazing boiler too, like to the point where like the plumbing people like came for some. Didn't they come for a conference just to see your boiler?
So they did, and we've been in. So the crazy part is that we've been in 4 different plumbing magazines. So the crazy thing is that there's a plumbing magazine. The crazier thing is that there's 4 of them, and the craziest thing is that I've been in 4 of them. Yeah. The boiler magazine
in the plumbing circuit.
Yeah,
Charlie's big in the plumbing circuit. There you go.
Yep. There's probably a calendar with. There's probably a calendar with my
Mario, Luigi, and Charles from Cyprus.
So I'm just picturing my boiler as the December photo on some plumber's calendar. Scantily clad.
Scantily clad, of course. Yeah.
Yes.
But somebody else's body though. Just your head, and then never mind.
No. My boiler.
Oh,
Not
so your
me.
boiler's
My
candily
boiler.
clad. Oh,
My
there you
boiler
go.
is candidly clad in the plumbing
Even
magazines.
better.
Yes.
Even better. Brian just said, by the way, he has no gray, just a little in his beard. I still have more gray in my beard than you do, Brian. So there you go.
Wow. Way to go, Bry.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good job, Brian. All right. All right. So what's new on the this year? Obviously, you got what was it?
Well, wait. Before we get into that, I got a better question. So
I'll go for it.
I know, since I know Charlie really well, and I know what you really like to drink. Let's talk about your stouts. Let's
right.
talk a little
Fair
bit
enough.
about your stouts. I know, like you were saying, you literally bought that big system so you could make these giant 13% stouts, basically.
Yeah, because if you're doing if you're brewing the stouts you want to brew on a 2-barrel system, you're getting about 2 sixtels out of there. You know,
which we were fine with, but yeah. Now
So
you
you-
know. So tell us.
So I got
what
them-
are some of the? What are some of the?
Am I allowed
your favorite
Am I
stouts
allowed to
anymore?
curse?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to curse?
fuck
Yeah,
no.
we curse all the fucking time in here.
So we got a crazy fucking beer on right now. 21.25%. It was originally
21.25%. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. You hear that, Brian Boak? River North can suck it. 21%.
21
like 18%.
Oh my god! What the hell did you brew 21%? What the hell is it?
Okay, so it's originally actually one of the 10% naughties.
Mhm.
And I put it in it's just the grain bill with water. And so I put it in a Four Roses barrel 7 years ago, before we changed it to 13%. And so there was 53 gallons that went in at 10%, and only 16 gallons came out. So it has condensed a little bit, and there has been some angel share and some devil's cut that have been stolen. And so it could have been as high as 33% if you do the cross multiply and divide. I had actually guessed that it was like 18. I think my original guess was like 18.5 off a taste. And then when the test results came back and it was 21.25, I was like, fucking Christ.
Oh my god!
So it's a spontaneous sour. So it's spontaneous.
So you have that on tap right now.
I do, and so it's no yeast. It's only water and grain, and that's it. There's no hops. There's no yeast. I left the top off while I grained in, so it's very little a lot less lactobacillus than I would have imagined, and a lot less Brettanomyces, and a lot of very calm wild yeast. It's very mild, and I know 7 years in a Four Roses barrel, you can actually taste the Four Roses, and it definitely came out very, very calm and very a lot more balanced than you would expect a spontaneous sour that was only water and grain.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the very first anniversary, the very first Backman was Four Roses, right?
No.
I thought it was. I know you've done Four Roses quite a few times though.
Really? So I use Four Roses a lot. But I've used a lot over the years. I've used over 100 different barrels.
Yeah. What did I had off to the races the other maybe 3-4 weeks ago. That was
that's Bland's.
That's Bland's, yeah. And I think I still have a bottle of the Stag. No, I had the Stag one with JJ. And we sent you a picture from Florida. From that, I brought that down in my luggage just so we could crack that. So
it just says bourbon barrels. It does not have a given one. I saved the barrel though. What was the barrel? I saved the barrel. I have it.
Is that the one that Doug's stuff is in the very corner?
No. Wow, I don't remember what the barrel was.
I thought it was a Four Roses barrel for some reason.
I mean, you probably have. There's probably a 50% chance that it was a Four Roses barrel. Yeah. But I like to use Buffalo Trace a lot. I love the way Buffalo Trace ages anything.
Buffalo
Buffalo
Trace
Trace
has a lot
barrels are very good. They're
they
very,
have a
very
lot of
good
that
beers.
like vanilla and marshmallowy like kind of edge to it, so like they're always good. I like the Fort Roses because it can give you those like more. It can give you a little bit of more like unique, like the almost like floral and like spicy edge. Sometimes
So
the Four Roses can be really nice.
spice, like it's almost a rye for roses.
Yeah.
Like it really does. It gives almost like a rye spice concept to it. But I've used Willet, I've used Stag, which I think was the best. We've used Bland's, which is what you just drank. We use some red wine barrels, gin barrels. I have a rum barrel right now that's going to come out. It's a coconut rum barrel. It's probably I'm going to guess it's in the 13s. Could be in the 12s, could be in the 14s. But that's going to be a nice one.
I expect a text when that comes out.
Yeah, definitely.
That's my jam.
Brian,
So
just,
it's a cruise and rum barrel. So it's pretty much a redo of Island Cruise.
Nice. I like that. I think I have that. I think I had that in the. Was that the one that we were in a hockey rink?
It's a 7. So it came in a 750, and it was it had a Dead Paulie on it.
Yeah, no, I think. Did you bring that to one of the? You brought that, or even if you didn't bring it, maybe you brought a bottle to one of the beer fests. I had it with you.
So that would make sense. So I released it right around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Because it was 11 months. It was 11 months aged.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember having that beer with you at some point.
when
Maybe it was
how long ago? I was going to say
I don't know.
maybe it's the
We probably released that about 2 years ago.
yeah. So then it would have been Westfield hops.
Maybe that's it. I don't know.
That would make sense. I mean, I always go to Westfield Hops.
Yeah.
It's mandatory hug time. Sorry.
I am going to have my third beer, and the other Middlesex brewery that has since unfortunately gone out of business, but they do have a tree on their logo. Ashton.
There you go, Ashton.
And this is the Ship of Fools. It's a rye barrel-aged Baltic Porter, and it's fantastic. It's I think it's one of the last barrel-aged beers they actually released. And it's one of my favorite. I think that
we had that when we were up there the day before he closed, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Steve and his wife are very, very nice people, and
they're awesome. Yeah, I felt bad. I mean, they were, they got their license like 3 weeks before
COVID, literally,
so
like they started in COVID.
Like they finally like beer is ready, and it's like the world shut down. They're like, okay, you can't even come to the brewery. So they were behind the 8 ball from day one, which really sucks. But
I'm unprepared. I have to go get ice cubes.
Go get ice cubes.
No, go get ice cubes. You're cool.
They were more behind the 8 ball than breweries that opened up during COVID because they had beer ready. They were ready to rock and roll, and they couldn't.
And they literally couldn't open with people in the building.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, because it's a Baltic Porter and it's a little lighter, the rye on this just comes out.
I got a couple of Baltic Porters. I'm gonna have to do a Baltic Porter show. I like doing these themes.
I got a couple.
I'm doing the Belgians tonight. I got to do a Baltic Porter night. I got to do an all beer night.
Have you ever had the Baltic Porter from Trois Musketeers from Quebec?
I have not. No, I want to, but I have
their
not.
Their bourbon
had
barrel aged
yeah.
Baltic Porter. It is one of the best. I mean, it is a dark fruit bomb with bourbon. It's like nice light roast, stupid dark fruit, and then bourbon. And it is just a fantastic beer. All around Montreal, like there's multiple breweries that make Baltic Porters, barrel-aged Baltic Porters there, and they're all good. I don't like it's the weirdest thing, but that area around Montreal and Quebec just love Baltic Porters, and it's like they all make really good ones.
Yeah, we got to do a Baltic Porter at some point. I love that style. I love it. But yeah, no,
the rye barrel in this is so nice.
Yeah, me and rye. You gotta have that. That's That was fantastic when we had it up there. I wish I grabbed the 4-pack, but I was like so overloaded with beer. If I walked in with a 4-pack of that,
Well, I hate to say it. I bought it because I know that. Well, it's a 6-pack.
was it a 6-pack? Yeah, it was a 6.
Actually,
that's
Charlie,
why I didn't get it. Yeah.
Charlie, you like rye.
I love rye.
I
love
gotta
I love rye.
I gotta bring one of these by
My favorite rye. My favorite rye. I'm going to show you. Keep talking, Matt. Yeah.
because it's a Baltic porter, so it's it's obviously lighter than a stout or a porter. It's a lager when at the end of the day.
That's my favorite rye right there.
But the
There you go. That's fantastic.
That's my favorite rye right there.
Oh, you mean this one?
That one right there. Yeah.
Funny how that works.
So I have a bottle of it at Cyprus, not at home. I apologize, gentlemen.
I'm nosing this, and it's just the beautiful rye flavor from the barrel just is so nice.
When you have a beer that you don't want to drink because the smell will go away, that means it's a good beer.
Yeah. But
I had the rye barrel once, and I loved the beer.
I love rye
I
barrel.
mean-
Actually, what I really love is I love rye barrel barley wine because I think the drier rye barrel kind of balances this. Like a stout is a stout. You want it's big and chunky, and you can do it sweeter or drier or whatever.
Right.
The barley wines, sometimes the bourbon barrel aged barley wines go a little too much, and it's too sweet. And I think the rye is like just balances those things. Barley wines, a big sweet chunky barley wine with the rye barrel is just a perfect marriage. Yeah.
On that note, I was going to put this up before Brian was having his second beer. It's his wooden beanie that he makes.
So he's on the Belgian kick too,
which is his Belgian double or Abbey Brown, either or, aged in Jack Daniel's barrels with Madagascar vanilla beans. So he's still on a Belgian kick there. So there you go. All right,
I love those vanilla beans.
Oh, they're fantastic. I love them.
I have right now. I have a vanilla mango, and the vanilla beans are aged 1 year, 10 months on Woodford. That's on tap.
Vanilla mango, huh?
So
I got strawberry vanilla coming out next.
Yeah. For anyone who
IPA.
doesn't know, I got to brew with Charlie a bunch at Cyprus, and the one thing that I absolutely loved is that when we were on the 2-barrel system, it like there's no compromises. Like you don't have to use extracts or any of these things, and it's like
I still do all of them.
The sheer amount of time
I make
that
all
he
of
puts in, like doing scraping hundreds of vanilla beans just to make sure it's that pure vanilla flavor. I totally have respect for him because it makes such a difference.
When we get off of this today, I'm actually making a Dr. Pepper syrup to make into a seltzer. Like I'm gonna make it on my stove. I'm gonna make it on my stove to make 5 gallons of Dr. Pepper, 6 gallons.
Yeah.
6 gallons of Dr. Pepper tomorrow.
Nice. And
Yeah.
that's the nice
But
thing.
I'm making as soon as we get off. That's what I'm making as soon as we're done with this conversation.
But again, all your restaurant experience gives you that like culinary edge where you can do things like that, and that's one of the things I like. Is you do have the sensory analysis to see what's good and what's not good, and you do have the culinary background where you can actually execute and make some of these flavors in a certain way, and that's what I always loved. But hey man, I always had fun.
I just did a fun one-off. I just did a fun one-off IPA for somebody for an event, and it was so it's 17 Mile, but it is with so it's only a sixtel. Okay, so it's 5 gallons, but I used 4 jalapenos and 2 serranos with a little bit of bourbon and a little bit of water, but boiled that down, made a concentrate, and then blended that in. I wonder how that's going to be.
Spicy Sculpin vibes, but better.
That's habanero sculpin, right? Habanero sculpin.
Yeah, but so I used 4 jalapenos and 2 serranos. No habaneros. Nice.
So but 2 serranos and 4 jalapenos kind of bring you to habanero.
Well, yeah, but it'll have
not even close.
It'll be way more balanced with flavor.
Yeah, not even close.
that habanero scalping was just fucking heat, and
It was
terrible.
all heat.
It was too
all heat.
hot.
All heat.
Yeah.
All heat. And
I
we
want
talked about this- Go ahead.
if I make a pepper beer, I want you to drink the whole thing. I want you to finish it. I want you to leave. I want you to get 2 lights away, and I want you to feel the warm in your chest, and I want you to go, no shit, I had pepper. I don't want you to drink it and be like, oh, this is spicy. Who the fuck wants to drink something spicy? If I want something spicy, I'm gonna have a Bloody Mary.
Oh, here's a random thing. So do you want to tell people why that beer is called 17 Mile?
Because that's the name of the road in between the Cypress Tree and Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
So it's 17 miles. So it's 17-mile drive, and so it's the famous Cypress Tree. And since we were Cypress Brewing Homebrew Club, because we met at on Cypress Drive,
And
You
obviously,
know,
where is Pebble Beach?
California.
Done. So that's your West Coast IPA, and you have the
Yeah.
Cypress reference in there.
And it's the most famous. It's the most photographed tree. It's the most photographed tree ever. Photographer
There was a tree.
or most photographed tree in America.
In America, I think is right, because there's a tree in New Zealand in Wanaka that is probably the most photographed tree, because it's out in a lake and it's like super weirdly shaped. And
I thought the Joshua tree was the most. No, I'm kidding.
yeah. Jeff Morello says, "Hey Matt, hey Jeff, how's it going,
There
buddy?"
you go. Hey Jeff, I'm here too. No, I'm kidding.
I had Joshua Tree beer once.
How's it going?
I had Joshua Tree beer. There's a Joshua Tree brewery.
I thought you meant it was aged on Joshua Tree. I was like, that's weird, but
No, there's a Joshua Tree. There's a Joshua Tree brewery.
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, there is a Joshua Tree brewery. I was going to bring this up. Brian just said it. He says that's why I made Flamethrower. He agrees. That's why I made Flamethrower, to be drinkable, where the heat went away after each sip. It was his Belgian it was Belgian wit, right? With lemongrass and
peppers
and chipotle
Okay.
peppers. So,
Have you used any Amburana or anything, Charlie? I feel like Amburana would be your jam. Have you had Amburana? You've had Amburana beer?
No.
Okay.
Amburana wood is like, yeah. I mean, it's
Amburana wood adds like this kind of vanilla cinnamony churro like thing.
So
It's a Brazilian wood.
So I've used Cypress before, obviously, because I had to. I've used Palo Santo before, but on a strange note, and so Spellbound does there you go. So Spellbound does a Palo Santo, right? But I like the regular porter better. I'm like the only person.
I love Palo Santo personally.
Everyone else on Earth does. And so another odd fact about me, Matt, and I know you'll know some of these things. So I smoke my lunch and or my dinner very often. I like smoked foods, and I like spice, and I eat a ton of jalapenos, but smoked jalapeno, Chipotle, I can't stand, so I don't make Chipotle beers. I've never made a Chipotle beer.
I'll have to try. I think I have an Amburana beer. I'll have to bring it with. Wait, when weekends are you doing your birthday again? Is that the 12th?
That's the 12th, April 12th.
Shit, I have something going on that day, but I'll have to come by and just hang with you one day, and I'll bring a few beers. But I wanted you to try an Amburana beer because it's got this vanilla cinnamony thing that's just from the wood, but it's awesome. I love Amburana personally.
Amburana's fantastic.
And like I said, it's very like the cinnamon flavor is there, but it's very smooth.
I love cinnamon.
I feel like you would absolutely go nuts for Amburana.
It's fantastic,
and I think you could do some cool stuff with it. I mean, that Cypress Love beer that I just showed. I mean, that was an IPA with aged on the cypress wood, and that was kind of crazy. That was a collab with Bolero.
Bolero, yeah.
I did
a stout. I did a stout on the cypress wood also.
Yeah,
and I think I did a barley wine on the cypress wood.
The cypress is very like
dry and salty.
Aromatics, yeah, spicy but kind
salty.
of sharp.
I know a couple people like that. Very dry and salty. Very.
So the
But
salt,
anyway, but
the
I
salt was
definitely-
very prevalent.
I gotta bring that rye barrel aged Baltic Porter for you to try, and I gotta bring an Ambrana beer for you to try because I think those are things I know what you like, and I think you'll like both of those beers very well.
So I really like Baltic Porters. I've been very disappointed in them. The 3 or 4 most recent Baltic Porters I've had. One of them was absolutely horrendous. I took one sip and I thought that there was no way. I was like, what did I brush my teeth? And I went and I tasted it a second time, and it was absolutely horrendous. I ended up dumping it.
Yeah.
You know what I just bought the other day? Probably a couple of weeks ago at this point. I haven't had it yet. It's still sitting in the fridge. I bought. I was in one account. I was in a store, and they had Żywiec Baltic Porter.
Oh, good God!
Żywiec?
I got to get a bottle of it.
Oh, I love that. That's like the classic.
It's a
man.
classic.
Żywiec is.
Yeah, but you actually get some nice dark fruit out of it.
You do. You get a lot of dark fruit out of it.
Yeah.
Charlie doesn't like it, folks. If you're getting that,
Charlie hates most of beer. Just so let's get back to that. He hates most of beer.
It's yellow and bland.
No. The Baltic, the Żywiec.
I know. But regular Żywiec, regular Żywiec, the regular Polish,
Well,
the regular Polish lager.
but that's just a lager with Lublin hops in it. That's all it is. It's
I know.
distinctive.
Someone once put a glass of it in front of me. I smelled dirty hot dog water and took a nap. I was so bored.
Yeah, but see, I gotta be honest with you. Dirty hot dog water. I mean, not that I want to drink it by any means, but it evokes memories for me. You know, you gotta have.
No, that hop tastes like dirty hot dog water. Like not dirty, like a dirty water dog. I'm talking
No, of course, I know what you're talking about.
like that kraut cabbagey.
It brings me back. It brings me back to standing on Bloomfield Avenue next to Branchbrook Park, getting JJ.
And not Loveland, Matt. What's the hop I'm thinking of? Not Loveland. What's the hop I'm thinking about? And
Which
the
one?
grain that they use. Well, the very specific Polish grain.
Well,
The-
Lublin is
Vel-
Lublin is the hop. It's a derivative of Saz.
What's the other Polish hop though? It also starts with an L.
Oh, it's like Ludinsky or something.
That's the one I don't get along with. She and I do not get along.
And that's fine. That now we're talking about the regular Żywiec lager. We're talking. I bought a bottle of the Baltic Porter.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean the regular lager is kind of pedestrian, but the Baltic Porter, surprisingly, like it's actually pretty damn good.
It's a pretty good Baltic Porter. It really is.
Yeah.
You know. So.
You know, I mean, it's kind of like
it's
your
an
dictionary.
OG.
It's your dictionary definition of what a Baltic Porter is.
Yeah.
You know, it's still a little old school, but it's still like it's a little bit of roast. It's got a lot of dark fruit, and it finishes, light and clean like a lager. And you're like, that's pretty damn good. But
Pretty where it is.
Yeah.
Exactly. By the way, Brian did say, it's his wit with lemongrass with the Chipotles. That was his beer.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to throw up my, I'm going to go throw up now. My third beer, I have the Bourbon Barrel Deduction. Again, from Taxman. I did show this before. Another Taxman Brewing. It's a Bourbon Barrel.
that's the quad, right?
No, this is a double.
Oh, that's still the double. Yeah.
It's still a double. It's a Bourbon Barrel double. Yeah.
The bourbon barrel
Sorry.
double. Oh, I like Belgians. I like Belgians that are bourbon barreled.
It's a Bourbon Barrel double. Yeah. This is of course I was going to have this last, but this is fantastic. This is a sniffer, as Matt was just doing before with his.
Yeah.
Is that readily available?
On Tavor, yeah.
Yeah, we get it on Tavor.
On Tavor, you can find it probably about 4 or 5 times a year. They have it. We'll send it out. Unless you want to drive to Indiana, then you can probably get it.
I might have one in my fridge. I have to go look.
There you go. I did
at
have
my
one in
fridge.
my fridge. I don't anymore. So
Cypress is on Tavor. Cypress, we've been on Tavor since
Yeah, Taxman.
pre-COVID.
Taxman is from Indiana, so.
Indiana, yeah. What is it? Bargersville, Indiana.
Mhm.
And this podcast is actually going out to the Indiana Craft Beer Lovers Group. So anybody in Indiana, if you're watching or you're listening, you're rewatching, write us in, let us know what you think of Taxman, or if you've been a Taxman, if you've been to the brewery, talk to us about it.
All right.
Do they mainly make Belgians?
Yeah,
They're
and even their stouts have Belgian yeast in them, which they're. I hate to say it, as much as I love Belgians, the one thing I never really loved was Belgian stouts, but their stouts don't have. They probably ferment them a little colder so that it doesn't really produce a lot of esters.
Right.
So like their stouts are still pretty clean, and I actually like their stouts a lot.
You brought a quad, a Taxman quad. It was one of our
Qualified, I believe.
qualified. It was one of our nightcap beers that we had. We were at CBC in Minneapolis a few years ago. That was fantastic.
I'll tell you what.
And that was an 8-ounce can, if I recall.
I'm going to jump out of here for 1 second. I'll be right back, guys.
He's got to go pull a Dave. I know he's going to the bathroom, so there you go. He's got to go relieve himself, if you will. But anyway,
I mean, when you have a drinking podcast, it should almost be expected.
Oh yeah, well, Dave usually goes out at least once, if not twice, during the show. And
I snuck away to get ice and smoke hit the bowl a couple times.
That works. It's all good. Yeah, Dave usually goes away.
It's New Jersey. It's legal.
It's legal now.
For your people in Indiana, it's legal in New Jersey.
Legal in New Jersey. You can do this. That's allowed. So
yes, especially in your own home.
Yeah, well, definitely. We'll clue Matt in when he gets back. But Charlie, I just want to ask you. So now we were talking before the show, and obviously this is something that we know, and I don't know how many I wanted out there, but there's 4 breweries right now in Middlesex County.
There's Woodbridge Brewing, there is South 40 Brewing, there is Cypress Brewing, there is Brainyboro Brewing, and there is Harvest Moon. 5
breweries in Middlesex County. So yes,
just for better, definition. So Woodbridge Brewing and Harvest Moon are brew pubs,
mm-hmm.
and then Brainyboro is a contract only brew. They don't have any equipment. They don't brew on premises or anything.
They're basically a bar that has beer, but they contract their beer.
So technically, South 40 and Cypress are really the
only 2 breweries.
True breweries in the
county.
Yeah. In the whole county, yes, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, so you brew all the beer, obviously at Cypress, obviously.
Correct.
So who brews the beer at South 40?
So I've been the head brewer at South 40 for 2 years.
There you go. So, and who brews all the beer at Woodbridge?
So they buy all of the Woodbridge brand stuff. They buy from Cypress.
They buy from Cypress. Okay. So basically what you're saying is 3 of the 5 beer outlets, if you will.
No.
Brainyboro
is also made at Cypress.
Oh, Brainyboro's made at Cypress.
Yeah, Brainy. Yeah.
4 of the 5 beer facilitators, if you will, in the county of Middlesex, is brewed by you.
Yes. Okay. But so South 40. Okay. So South 40, it's their recipes. They're on a different water line than us.
Sure.
Okay. Even though they're only 1,000 yards away, they're on a different water line than us.
Literally, it takes you 15 minutes to get there, but they're like around the corner. Right?
So I walk there. I jump over the stream. I walk there. Yeah. It's like a 12 minute.
Because what in a straight line, how far are they from you?
Okay, so from my house,
the bird flies.
So 1,000 yards. So from my house to South 40 is the furthest. That's like
fields, folks. 3 football fields.
But to drive there, you literally have to do a big giant.
You got to go all the way around,
right? So how?
So that is a correct statement. You have to go on a 3-hour tour.
Yeah.
Yes, so just look for Gilligan. Make the right at the skipper. See, she's part hound. Come here. But yes, but they're on a different water system. It's mostly their recipes, although since I have been their brewer for 2 years, obviously some of the stuff is mine at this point. But they're on a different water system. So even if I were to bring one of my beers over there, it wouldn't even taste close to the same.
It would be different, of course it would.
You're brewing on their equipment there. Basically.
Oh yeah, on their little tiny 3.5 barrel system.
Yeah.
those folks, those in the know this. Those not in the know, just so you're aware, you could take the exact same recipe, the exact same ingredients, the from the same manufacturers, if you will, of grain, yeast, hops, so forth and so on. Two different breweries with two different water systems. The beer is going to taste different.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
That's
Even if
terroir.
I
Terroir.
dose it to make it similar.
Yeah. Well, that's where you have the terroir. Like you have, different grapes from different regions have their own terroir. The acidity, the sugar content, things like that will change based on environmental conditions. Obviously, we talked about water being the main component of beer. If you're using different water, you can brew the same exact beer, same grain bill, same hops from the same supplier, everything. If you brew it in 5 different waters, so you're going to get 5 different beers.
So most of the time, South 40 actually, we order grain together so that it's cheaper for them.
Mm-hmm.
So their grain, their hops, and their yeast is all the same as ours, but it's a completely different water line.
Yeah,
of course, which is weird because it's 1,000 feet away on the other side of a stream, and it's a different water line. That's amazing.
Correct, and it's also their recipes. You got to remember, it is their recipes, and most places that we contract for, it is their recipes. I adjust them. I adjust them for our equipment, but we contract for a lot. I think I've brewed. I'd like to say I brewed for probably maybe 20 plus different breweries in New Jersey at this point.
You brewed some of our beer at one point, so
there you go.
We're included.
I did.
In that. Yeah,
but Bolero for 3 years, 902 for 3 years, Ross for 3 years.
Yeah.
Village before they opened, Woodbridge, JJ's, Opportunity, 2 Ton, Ghost Hawk. I'm sure there's more.
The list goes on.
And that's not even talking about. Remember the like Lover Boy and the what was that?
Oh yeah, I forgot Lover Boy. That's right, Lover Boy started. So Lover Boy started at Cypress. That's the funny part about it.
That was still the most ridiculous thing. Like we got these ginormous Mylar bags of like sugar water, basically, right?
I had to become a customs agent to receive those. Like there was paperwork involved. There was the federal government.
All right,
like the federal government was actually involved in that.
You're about to learn how to become a customs agent. Didn't you think that this program was going to be this educational?
Exactly.
Dude, the federal government, the federal government was involved in the making of that beer or seltzer or
that's the problem. It wasn't even beer. It was like
there's some fog. There was just some fog in front of your face. I think it's gone.
You know that's made everywhere, right? That's sold all over America now.
Is it?
Lover Boy?
Yeah. I think Constellation Brands actually distributes it, or Budweiser, one or two of them.
That's hilarious.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, and they're in a legal battle. The last time I checked, they're in a legal battle with Night Shift, who make great beer and great stouts specifically, are some fantastic people.
My sister and my brother-in-law lived about 12 minutes from Night Shift, so
and I got to say,
my go-to in Boston.
I'm wearing a Treehouse shirt and I'm drinking out of a Treehouse glass, but I will tell you my favorite Massachusetts brewery is Night Shift.
It is,
and I've said that for years. Yeah. My favorite Massachusetts brewery is
great German beers, great lagers, great sour stuff, great stouts,
everything,
good hops. The only thing that I don't absolutely love from them is their Belgians, but.
Yeah. So
they're right.
You make most styles really well. I'm going to pass.
Well, that's it. They dial in everything. But the best part about it is I can go up there and I could spend 2-3 hours up at the brewery, right? And then when I'm done drinking beer, I walk out and I walk around the corner and go over to Short Path Distilling.
Yeah.
And I sit there for a while. I have a few drinks.
They make a lot of well, you're a gin guy.
I'm a huge gin guy. I make a lot of great. They make like 8 different gins. They make.
Actually, Charlie, one of your buddies, and my buddies, Blake, who was from elementary, his favorite gin was the winter gin from Short Path.
I have 2 of their gins right now. I have the summer and the autumn.
Yeah. So when I went up there, I used to try to grab him a little bottle of the winter gin because he loved it. But yeah,
fantastic. So
They're setting up a ranch in Arkansas. Him and Mike, I think.
Are they really?
Yeah,
Good for them.
yeah.
So you should ask the question: how do I know the night shift guys?
How do you know the night shift?
How do you
guys?
do
Talk
the
about
night
it.
shift?
Go
guys?
for it.
Yeah.
So the night shift guys, okay, and you can always tell. You can always tell, okay, when I enjoy beer. You know, there's a certain love that has to have been put into the beer. So the night shift guys happen to take the same continuing education classes I take in Philadelphia.
For the yeast.
And yeah, so for yeast, for sours, for contamination, we all take a class in the Philadelphia Institute of Sciences. And so I guess I probably met them like maybe 10 or 12 years ago. And then a bunch of brewers from Free Will and a bunch of brewers from Yards typically run the whole event, and they teach the classes. And the two scientists in charge of quality assurance at Yards teach the contaminants class. And so every year when I go to these continuing ed classes, so you can always tell who cares about what they do, because there's no requirements or anything. These continuing education classes
They're basically
are
trying to get better at their craft by their own volition.
so, and it costs us money. We pay for it. It's not free.
Yeah, no, but that's what I mean. Yeah, you're paying to take extra.
Yeah, so you know that these are the people.
Improve what you do.
So when I drink night shift beer, I know that those people, they care. I see them in class. I know that they keep up to date, and they're on top of stuff. Yeah. And from a owner and brewer standpoint, to see their employees at these classes, makes me know that they make a quality product.
Yeah, but
it's always good.
Like I said, my sister and brother-in-law live about 12 minutes, and once we put all my nieces to bed, we'll sit there on the couch and watch sports for maybe like half an hour, and then my brother-in-law will be like, "Yeah, you want to shoot over to night shift?" And my sister's like, "Go." You're
so close. How can you not?
And I'm always like, no, but it's great. He loves it because I'm his excuse to shoot over there on a random night. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I can be that excuse, buddy. Like, I got you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm that excuse for many a family member.
Yeah.
I love it.
But no, it's always a good time. And yeah, like I said, everything. I mean, I love their rotating. They have the one hop this time series, like the single hop pale ale. That's fantastic. I love it because and like I said, the German stuff they have is usually great. The stouts, I mean, their coffee porter is really good, really really good. Love that coffee porter. Yeah, great brewery. I mean, I've just always loved their stuff, and Treehouse and Trillium get all like the hype, but to me, I'd rather go to Night Shift than any other brewery in Massachusetts. So,
I'm a big Trillium fan.
I do.
I love Trillium. I love Treehouse. I would rather, if I could pick one of the breweries, and I can only go to one brewery in Massachusetts, it's Night Shift.
I would say
if I go to three,
Night Shift, then Trillium, then Treehouse for me personally. I think Treehouse has a very distinct and somewhat weird yeast signature in all its IPAs that I don't personally absolutely love.
But they're really.
I'm not going to say it's not.
They're really picking up they're really picking up their lager game, though. They really are.
Oh, I was up at the Deerfield location, like I said a couple weeks ago. They had a pale Czech lager and a dark Czech lager on the Luker, and both of those beers were. I'm the asshole. I went to Treehouse and didn't get a single IPA. I got 2 Czech lagers and a barrel aged stout, and I was totally excited and happy about it. And I'm telling you, all 3 of those beers were really fucking good. So I'm not mad at that choice at all. But yeah, I mean, again, I'll never say like Treehouse makes damn good beer. I'm not going to say they don't. It's just that a lot of the IPAs have they
taste the same. They taste the same.
Well, it's the finish. They have their house yeast, and it gives this distinct profile to the finish of the beer, and it's just not my favorite. And I like the way a Trillium finishes better than that, and I like the fact that I go to night shift and I have a big gamut of different styles of beer to choose from,
A big gamut of different styles to choose from.
as opposed to just, all the hazies. But anyway,
Well, hazies aren't my favorite, so
Yeah.
Gotta love
still
it.
King Julius is one of my other beers of the day.
all right. Oh, we're
Well, why do you know what? So why don't we go to that right
Why
now?
don't we go to we'll
So-
go to
Let's go there right now.
Listen, so I've had toast before, and I really thought that I had a coconut version of it once.
Well, before we get there, let's do our top threes, folks. We're going to do our top threes right now. Our top three list this week is top three breweries, top three favorite beers brewed by a brewery with a tree in their logo or their name, either or. Top three favorite beers
obviously
brewed by a brewery
obviously not just Cypress Brewing
with a tree in their logo or their name. Now, here's the thing: Matt and I have carte blanche and whatever we want. Charlie cannot name a Cypress beer. That's the key. So there you go. Because if he did, he'd name 3 Cypress beers. So there you go. So we know that. We know that, right? So Charlie, give us your top 3. Go for it.
Well, so I thought maybe a Ghost Talk, but it was a collab with Cypress, so I guess that one was out. So I went with I went with King Julius.
Wait, you can put that as an honorable mention.
Yeah, if you want to do an honorable mention, you can do that.
You
So.
do one honorable mention. That's allowed.
So I went with King Julius because you can't have a tree beer without saying Treehouse. Okay. However, I did have toast once. I think it was called Toast, and I thought it was coconut, and I thought it was amazing, but I don't know if that was the name or if that was the beer, because as Matt knows,
Treehouse beer?
I thought it was, but I don't log anything ever, so I don't know.
What was it called? Treehouse what?
I thought it was called Toast, maybe. And it was coconut. Yeah, I thought so, but I don't know if that's true. I can't remember. But
wait. So I'm just looking on Untapped. So the best part is there's one. It's called Gilded Grove Ceramic Toast Barrel, that's a barley one. That is not what you had. Then there's Maple Cinnamon French Toast Truth, and then the last one.
Truth.
Yeah.
That was the name of the beer. Truth.
Yeah.
That was the coconut beer I had.
Coconut Truth. It was, but no, wait. But the best part is the last beer is called That's What She Said with Toasted Coconut, and that's probably one of Charlie's favorite sayings in the entire world. I mean,
So not even that. I might have had that also.
Yeah.
I think I've had that before.
That was a milk stout with coconut. So that was.
I think I've had that also.
I would say on any given. How long was there? All right, when we were on the 2-barrel, what was an average brew day there? Maybe like 5 hours, roughly. 6?
No. So with cleanup, or are we talking no cleanup?
I'm just talking like average day. What we were there for? What? Let's call it 7 hours.
Sure, it's probably more like 8, but sure.
But how many That's What She Said jokes would happen during an average brew day at Cypress?
Well, I mean, first off, 1 million, because everything brewing has to do with sex somehow.
Oh yeah,
of course it does. Of course it does.
Yeah.
And not even that, it was, back then the Office was still on.
Yeah.
It was actually still on TV. That's how long ago that was. Is that the Office was still on TV.
So sorry to hijack your list, but that was just funny to me because that's what the third beer is. That's What She Said in parentheses with toasted coconut,
which is a good beer. Oh shit!
Yeah,
which is a good beer. Oh shit! That doesn't sound right.
No, the dog's ear. The dog's ear is getting in the way of many a thing, including my screen. She's like pushing against me, refusing to not get hugs.
Oh.
So beer number 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so beer number 2. Okay, and so it's a Dead Tree. Okay, and it's Brash, which is a brewery that I visit in Houston every time I'm there. I met them probably about 10 or 12 years ago, I think. And they make some great beer. They're a small little place. And the first time I was there, they had and it was winter. It was for Christmas. and they had a stout that was almost exactly the same as Naughty, and it was like it was all the same flavors, all the same ingredients. I mean, all the same, not all the same ingredients, all the same specs. And then I went over the grain bill with them, 100% different ingredients. Tasted almost exactly the same.
Did you ever bring them a bottle of Naughty?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh, I go there every year.
I love the brewing industry that way. Like everyone's so like, oh, this is so cool. It reminds me of my beer. Here, I got to bring one for you.
So it's crazy. When I first tasted it, I was like, this is my beer. And then the recipe's 100% different, and they came out to the same ending.
That's so crazy. And again, various.
Yeah, but they make them great beer. And they have on their white stout, okay, which is absolutely amazingly delicious. And they have a Dead Tree. So I went with them because I'm a fan, and they're a small brewery, and they deserve some credit.
That's awesome, and they're now on my radar officially. So
there you go. Yeah, Brash. I wear their merch. I do. You'll see me in some Brash shit from time to time.
Nice.
Yeah, and then obviously, you can have your pick, but if I were to have to drink a New England IPA, it would be a King Julius. So from Treehouse. I mean, how can you leave them off the list? And then number 3, okay. And again, so I don't know the name because I don't know if it had a name. I go to a place called J Dubs in Sarasota, Florida when I visit my mother in March.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of their beer, and the guys there are super, super nice and super chill. And every time I'm there, they treat me literally like a king. They let me have tastes out of all their barrels. So one of the times I was there, I had, and I'm not a gin fan, John. Sorry. I'm not a gin fan. But they had a gin barrel-aged stout, or a gin barrel-aged barley wine that was knock your socks off delicious.
A gin barrel-aged barley wine? Really?
Dude, listen, I never would have had it. They gave it to me first and then told me what it was. They lined up like 6 different barrel-aged beers that they hadn't even released yet. So that's why I don't even think it has a name. But I do know they can. So you can get their stuff. They've been canning probably for 8 years, 9 years. And it's J Dubs in Sarasota, but they have some barrel aged stuff. If you go there, they have some barrel aged stuff there. That's good. And then 3 Daughters too, but that's not what's it called? That's not tree related. But 3 Daughters in St. Pete's they have a really nice barrel program there too.
Gotcha.
Just for some Florida breweries, why not?
From Florida breweries, why not? Exactly. All right, Matt, what are your beers?
I'm still trying to find his gin barrel aged thing, but it doesn't look like it's on tap, so I'm just going to proceed on. So, my number 3 is a brewery I was just at 2 weekends ago, and I already drank one of their beers tonight. It's Elder Pine. Elder Pine is about 50 minutes outside of DC in Maryland. Mm-hmm. It's in the middle of kind of nowhere, but they make some awesome beer and
amazing beer.
And I have to go with one of their barley wines. So it's Summon the Moon Lord. So they do a 24-hour boil on their barley wines. 24 hours. Like insane. And the amount of Maillard, like dark cooked sugar character is just through the roof. It's absolutely through the roof. And the Summon the Moon Lord, it's an English style barley wine, so it already has a lot of like caramel, but then it has just this deep like molasses, Maillard, all this cool shit going on, and then it has the bourbon, and it's just such a rich, full drinking beer, and it's just fantastic. This list could not happen like without a Treehouse beer, mm-hmm. And obviously everyone usually goes right for the hazies. I have had some Treehouse stouts. I have a love-hate thing with them. I've had a lot of ones that are pretty good, and I've had a lot of ones that were not that great. But probably one of the best ones I had was they have a this Truth series, and they have Vanilla Bean Truth. But they did a sub series of that where they did individual single origin bean.
Mhm.
So like they have Tanzanian Vanilla Bean Truth and Madagascar Vanilla Bean Truth. The Tahitian Vanilla Bean Truth was unworldly good. It is one of the best vanilla beers I've ever had. It was super full and rich with vanilla and had that nice bourbon, and their malt profile has a nice bit of like kind of like chocolate edge. So it's like chocolate, vanilla, bourbon, boom. That was fantastic. And
Maddie,
yeah,
Maddie, can I interrupt you?
sure, please do.
So that's the brewers being good brewers, because Tahitian vanilla is not as good quality. So
Yeah.
Tahitian vanilla is going to be sun dried as opposed to boiled to stop the enzymes. It's not done by the bourbon method, and I don't think so. So the good one is Planophora. I don't think the Tahitian one is actually grade A Planophora. I think it's a subspecies of vanilla, and it's not as big and bulky, so it doesn't have as many seeds inside.
Right.
So the fact that you think that is a better beer just goes to show that the brewers themselves probably had a hand in making that beer better with a not to say subpar, but compared to the other beans that they're using, it's subpar.
I mean, so having actually been, so first of all, most of Tahitian vanilla is actually made in Moorea, which is an island offshore of Tanzania. I'm sorry, offshore of Tahiti. And having actually been to Moorea and been to a vanilla plantation, I know what Tahitian vanilla can taste like. And I think maybe that's part of it, because if you do get high quality Tahitian vanilla, it is very complex and it's very nice. And that beer was one of the only like very true expressions of Tahitian vanilla I've had since I was at a Tahitian vanilla plantation. And obviously, you're not going to get it fresher than when you're on the Tahitian vanilla. You know, it's never going to taste better than there. This was probably the closest to that same flavor that I remember that I had. So there's, you know, that's the thing where I have to speak to experience, and not everyone is going to have that same experience with that beer, but that's the experience I had, and that's why I hold it in such high regard.
Or maybe the beer was just really good.
Well, I mean, the beer was very good. I have to admit, the beer was good. I mean, the funny thing is, I still think Madagascar vanilla is the king. I still think Madagascar vanilla it has the creamiest, best flavor if you get good quality Madagascar vanilla. That's the most like classic vanilla-y flavor. Tanzanian vanilla can be fucking amazing, but it has this very like interesting floral component that people either love or hate. So like it can be very complex and have this cool like actually the funny thing is we did a collab with Icarus, and when we went to can it, they were taking they had one of their making whoopee, which is like a chocolate marshmallow stout, barrel aged stout that they put on the Tanzanian vanilla that year. That beer was the most floral, beautiful vanilla stout I'd had in a long time. We tasted off the tank.
Yeah.
Like the Tanzanian vanilla just had such a distinct flavor. But it's the Tahitian. The funny thing is I had a Tanzanian vanilla truth right before I had the Tahitian, and the Tahitian kicked its ass. So it was interesting. But again, you know, I mean, we also, as anyone who does sensory analysis, you know, it has to do with how your palate's doing that day, what beer you had before, what beer you have after, like, you know, where you are. But for whatever reason, I mean, that was a 12-ounce bottle. That Tahitian vanilla bean truth just kicked so much ass. Yeah. But anyway, getting to number one, and this is one that I have a deep personal connection to, and it couldn't only be this.
Could we have mentioned it already?
I don't think so.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Can I guess it?
You can guess it.
Is it Devil's Trade?
You're goddamn right it is. So, and I have one of the empty bottles right here.
I have a full one.
I I have one full one left somewhere buried in my basement. I have to find it. But
I
this is
don't.
this
I
was
don't,
the
I don't
show
have an
bottle.
empty of mine, and I had
Yeah.
some of his, and we had some at. We were by you, and we had some too, not that long ago too, maybe
Yeah.
last year.
So this was a beer that I talked to Sergio at Melavino, and I got 2 barrel. He had aged an orange blossom honey mead in bourbon barrels, and I talked to him and said, "Let me take these over to Cyprus." And Charlie,
it was Southern. What was it called? Southern
Southern
Moon. Is it Southern Moon? It's on the bottle.
I forget.
It says it on the bottle.
Old Dixie Moon. Old Dixie Moon.
Old Dixie Moon.
And Charlie very generously said, "Well, you brought the barrels over. You get to decide what goes in them." And so I made 2 recipes.
Dumb move.
One was basically I took a recipe of a beer that you had done and we upscaled it a little, and it was an orange chocolate porter, and we put that in the 1 barrel, again trying to play with that orange honey, orange blossom honey flavor. And then 2 is I said, well, I'm the Belgian guy and I want to do something straight Belgian, so I want to do a straight, the porter, the darker beer was going to play with the flavors that was already in the barrel, and then I want to do a lighter beer that would just let the barrel kind of sing through it. And so I did a Belgian triple basically, and just really let the barrel come through. And I mean, that beer had bourbon, it had orange flavor, we got so many notes out of that. It was so awesome. It came out way better than I ever expected it even to come out. And I would tell you what, I think I have 1 bottle left, but even after, God, this has to be 9 years old now, right?
Probably close to
Right?
it.
The last time I had it was 2 years ago. Well, a year and a half ago.
I'm telling you right now, I've had it consistently over the last
we had it at Melavino. Well, we had it at Melavino a couple years ago.
Oh, when he closed, we had it.
Yeah. And I hate to say it is still.
I had it after that though.
The bourbon flavors definitely fell. The bourbon flavors mild. The orange flavors kind of dropped out, but it is still just a great triple with some mild bourbon flavor. It is still held up. This beer is held up amazingly well. And it's just I actually did the label art, and
it's bottled on a homemade bottling system.
And that's the craziest thing.
As it should be.
It was bought.
I still use it. I still use it.
On that
I still use it.
And obviously, we do purge with CO2 to try to, reduce any oxygen intrusion or anything like that. But I mean, it is amazing how well this beer held up. And I guarantee if we crack those bottles that we have left, they're going to be fantastic. And it's a triple it's a really tough beer to nail. And I think we nailed this one. And I was just so happy with this beer. And it's awesome that it's held up for so long. I mean, fresh, it had just a stupid amount of character from the barrel, from both the orange blossom honey edge and the bourbon. And it still is holding up, and I just love this beer. So that's to me, that's one of my favorite beers that we've ever made. And that's got to be number 1.
There you go.
Got to be number 1.
I just typed it in there and I put collab with Melavino, and autocorrect wanted to change Melavino to Melvin. So it has said collab with Melvin. It said
there's a
Sergio, the owner of Melavino, Sergio. So once he sold Melavino, he opened 2 restaurants, one in Metuchen and one in Montclair. His one in Montclair just got a crazy amazing review. So I've been to Torino. I've been to the one in Metuchen. I've never been to the one in Montclair. I'm
he opened the soft opening weekend.
So Cyprus is doing a collab with Montclair probably brewing.
Nice.
So I'm going to be up there. I'm going to be up there in the near future a little bit.
You got to go.
So I'll probably go there then. But But yeah, I think we're in the works. We're in the works with Montclair Brewing. He called me. I think he called me today. I think he called me today. We're gonna work on a collab up to them.
Nice. I said we.
So I should be
we
up
should
in
do that. We're well overdue for that.
Yeah, that's very true.
what, Coastal?
Yeah, we should do a collab.
I mean,
I know we.
I
I
don't
we
know.
made a ton of beers together, but we should do one.
I guess it really only makes sense at this point. We've made a million. We made a million beers together, literally. Yeah.
All right. So my three. First, I want to mention.
Here's the honorable mention.
No, I'm going to give an honorable mention out to Elder Pine. I'm not going to. They're brewing great beer. They didn't make like my top three cut, if you will, but I haven't had, and I'm waiting to have Summon the Moonlord.
And I have a can of it, and I will share it with you.
Right. Well, cigars one night, we'll have that beer, and that will probably jump onto this list at that point, right? But beyond that, everything I've had's been spot on, and it's damn close. It had to be, but my number three is from Lone Pine up in Portland, up in Maine.
Yep.
And that's their what the hell's the name of it? Because autocorrect screwed me over here. Hold on. Pardon me for 1 second while I get the actual pronunciation of the name, because Chaga. There you go. Chaga Stout. It's an 8% stout, but it's like a West Coast hopped stout. It's really, really good.
Ooh.
Like really good.
So it's like a black IPA.
It's an imperial black IPA.
It's like an imperial black IPA. Yeah, it's
like what I want all black IPAs to taste like.
pretty much, yeah. So yeah, charge it autocorrect changed Chaga to charge.
So chaga is the type of mushroom. Does it have mushrooms in it?
It's a what we call it?
That's just an interesting name.
Yeah, it's chaga. Well, it's here's the style guide in Untapped. It's this dry stout brewed to balance citric West Coast hops with chaga from the Maine woods.
Oh, so it's a mushroom beer.
So it's a mushroom beer. Yeah. So there you go. Which is near and dear to your heart. There you go. There you go.
The weirdest ingredient I ever put in beer.
And we put it in like what, 2 or 3 beers, I think.
Well, the Chanterelle specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, we put oysters in, oyster mushrooms, not oysters. Although I have put oysters in beer also.
The Firkin a pale ale we did for the first anniversary thing at Haley's.
That was the Chanterelles.
Yeah, Chanterelle pale ale, Belgian pale. And that kicked really quick.
Didn't we have a fantastic quad with mushrooms down at Vasson Brewing down in Richmond?
No, we had an amazing stout.
With stout? I thought it was a quad.
Yes, with candy cap mushrooms.
Okay.
So candy cap mushrooms taste exactly like maple syrup. It was the most maple stout I'd ever had that had no maple in it. Like that's what we had. It was a stout with. It was a maple stout. It was a candy cap stout, and it was fantastic.
It was great. That was fantastic. All right,
maybe we should fuck with some candy cap mushrooms.
We might want to do that. We might want to think about doing that.
I know Charlie likes maple.
I do.
Does anybody out there that's listening that has been paying attention to this show for the last 5 years know what my favorite adjunct in beer is?
Maple.
That would be maple. Yeah, that would be cool. So anyway, okay, my number 2 is of course from Treehouse. There you go, and it's their Vanilla Bean Catharsis. Okay, Catharsis is their American porter, but their Vanilla Bean Catharsis is obviously their porter with Madagascar vanilla beans, 7.4%. Fantastic. I could drink this. I could smell, sniff, drink this porter, lick the inside of the glass, the whole 9 yards. It's amazing, this beer. That's my number 2. And my number 1, I'm giving a nod to Mr. This guy right down there. That guy right there. Him. And that would be, I mean, there's so many beers that I could put in here. I actually have an honorable mention I'm going to mention afterwards for Cypress. But Cypress, 2 years ago, your 8th anniversary stout was stupid. I think I drank 3 of them that day and couldn't drive home, but that's besides the point. Was it like 17.5%, something like that?
Probably in
That
that
sounds,
area.
that sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
That sounds pretty Charlie-ish.
Yeah, I definitely went up. I definitely got like, I think you had a Korean taco truck there for your 8th anniversary.
We do. So our anniversary is their anniversary. They're going to be at our anniversary again this year.
I'm pretty sure I went up after I had my third 8. I definitely went up and got like 3 orders of Korean tacos. I had to like soak some of that up. It was such a good beer. And I'll throw another honorable mention in there. Rewind, the collab you did with 2 Ton. That English barley wine.
Okay, so Rewind is actually that's probably my favorite beer ever.
You're welcome.
So I obviously wasn't allowed to choose one of my own, but that has such a story behind it. I drove out to Alba to pick that barrel up. They dumped it right in front of me and handed it to me on the spot. I drove back to Cyprus.
Was there a little angel chair
and
left in it, or when you got back?
Oh, there was tons of shit left in it. And shit, there was tons of shit. It was like 30 pounds. It was the heaviest barrel I ever picked up in my life. It was soaking wet, filled with shit. There was macerated cherries in it. So we first I did a collab with 2 Ton, and it was a Belgian quad called Fourscore. There it is right there.
Yep.
And so that was in that barrel, right? And then when that barrel ended,
all these
that
bottles
beer
are
was
empty
so-
that Matt's showing you right now. Just it's his.
Well, these are my they're my trophy bottles.
There is trophy.
I
bottles.
don't have a rewind bottle up here somehow. Oh man, I'm dropping the ball. I don't have a rewind
I'm
barrel.
pretty
I
sure
have
the last
a-
rewind
I-
bottle you had, you brought here, and I had it for a little while, and then somehow it got tossed. I won't mention anything. That's fine.
I have a full one.
Do you?
Oh, we need to have
And
that.
I have a
Right.
I have a full one, and I have a full Fourscore.
I didn't even notice that, but apparently, apparently
we'll drink the
rewind.
We'll drink the rewind full one that you have while we're brewing the candy cap mushroom stout that we're gonna do.
Because I did the recipe for rewind. The funniest part was Jim did the recipe for the quad.
You guys are gonna think it's funny. Look,
Yeah.
already ordered. I already have some. I already have some coming to my house.
There you go. But yeah, that's actually crazy. I didn't even realize that, and now I'm like, I really need to have a bottle, like a trophy bottle of rewind somewhere. Damn it!
I might have a spare at Cyprus.
All
Well, we need to drink one of them.
I have one signed. by the 2 Ton boys and myself.
I mean, you know.
Yeah,
Matt,
that one's
Matt and Jim's signature. You need to keep that one.
that one's for you.
Right. That's for you only.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, if you have another one, we got to open that up when we wait. What did you just show? Did you order candy cap mushrooms already? Is that what you did?
Whoa!
Yeah, already ordered.
I just looked at.
So when are we doing this stout? That's what I need to know.
I just looked at.
Oh, I'm ordering them. I'm ordering them to taste them.
Gotcha.
I
gotta taste them. I gotta taste them
I
first.
didn't think you were ordering them to brew it next week. I'm just asking you.
No,
just
figure
looked at
out.
my
Yeah,
spreadsheet.
figure out what to do with them.
I just looked at my spreadsheet. Apparently, I have one bottle of rewind still in my cellar. Everything is all right.
Somewhere you have that.
Somewhere I have it.
There you go.
In my 187 bottles in my cellar somewhere.
Mhm.
So I have number one.
Oh, I
I
hope
would
you
imagine
do.
so.
Yeah.
No, I mean I still have it unopened from our first anniversary. I have number one. It's at
mean
my
back
mother's
then?
house.
Yeah.
Yep. I have the first one ever.
Hold up.
The first bottle we ever made. I'm pretty sure you were there.
Yeah, I was there. I have bottle 231 apparently. Because I just grabbed one out of one of the boxes.
I will never open this. If I do, I'm dumping it because it's 3 years old at this point. But this is the very first building sandcastles that came off the line of Bolero ever. Right?
There you go.
Nothing like a 5.5% New England IPA that's 3.5 years old.
It's not for drinking.
Yeah,
It's-
I mean, I have a.
So you'd be surprised. It might not. You never know. If your DO is low enough, dissolved oxygen, for those who don't know, if your DO is low enough, that beer could still be perfectly fine after 3 years.
So I mean, I've experienced it too. Definitely. I mean, we've had.
Listen, Bolero worked with me for 3 years before they had a brewery. I have a feeling that they have very low DO numbers. They do a good job there.
The DO numbers were very, very low. I actually had a Trojan Seahorse at one point. This was like last year. That was almost 2 years old, and there was no cardboard. There was nothing in it. I mean, the hops faded, of course, but it was still pretty drinkable after almost 2 years.
How was the color?
The color was spot on. It hadn't gotten dark or anything.
There you go. That's so oxygen will definitely darken it up.
This one,
I brewed that beer.
we brewed that beer.
I brewed that beer.
Yeah.
We brewed that beer. We brewed that beer. Sure. I brewed it a whole bunch of times.
I have bottle 11 of 312 apparently. So
that's awesome. Brian just commented. Brian Boki just commented. He says he still has one bottle from the first batch ever of Monster Mash from 2007. Brian, you need to
put it in a museum.
While you need to drink that beer at some point, you need to not drink it yet. That needs to be there. There has to be a very, very, very specific and glorious reason for you to open that. And until then, it needs to be on a shelf with spotlights pointed at it, so forth. Well, not to heat it, just to, illuminate it. So,
what is Wooden Beanie?
There you go. Let me go back to this. While Brian types what Wooden Beanie is, I mean, I could tell him. Wooden Beanie is, like I said before, it's either his Two Blind Monks Belgian Double or his Belgian Abbey Brown, aged in Jack Daniel's barrels with Madagascar vanilla beans. All right. Then he actually takes his Monster Mash and he ages that in Jack Daniel's barrels with Madagascar vanilla beans, and he calls that Blunderbore. And Blunderbore is the name of the monster from Jack and the Beanstalk. So it's a pretty clever name. There you go. And Brian says he's going to have it for his 65th birthday this October with his son and his daughter. Brian, have at it. Just do me a favor. After you finish that bottle, save it and bring it to the next Giants game after that, and let me just smell it. That's all I want to do. There you go. That's all I want to do.
Just want to smell your bottle,
There you go. There you go. And he said correct. Yes, that's exactly what it is. To catch up on a couple of his third beer was Monster Mash, indeed. Gene commented, "Hey there, Charlie and Matt," and then, "Hey, John."
Oh shit! Hey, Gene. That's our buddy.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's up, Gene? And then he said, and then Brian said, "Love free will." There you go. So we were talking about something earlier, and so he jumped on that.
So yes, Free Will are the people who run the sour division of Free Will. Those are some of the teachers at the continuing education classes that I was talking about. That's where Free Will came up.
Brian, didn't you brew there, or you did something with Free Will? I thought you brewed there for Pennsylvania. Maybe I'm wrong. I remember something else, but
John Arovich brewed there.
John Arovich brewed at Free Will, did he?
Yeah.
Before Kane?
Before Kane, yeah.
Before Kane, yeah. Before he was quoted in.
Before he was a big deal on the internet.
Before he was a big deal on the internet. Before he's Insta famous.
Yeah.
Brian says he has a few other bottles from 2009 and 2010. Brian, I'll bring a couple of good ones to some Giant games this year, and just bring one of those is all I ask. I love Monster Mash. Great.
Well, you better bring a lot of beer because we're gonna stink.
No. He goes.
Oh no, we got Russell.
Hold on, Brian says yes, he did brew there. Brian, comment in with this. We're going to switch to a quick Giants conversation here. So now apparently we got Jameis Winston last week, and we now signed Russell Wilson. So clearly Russell Wilson is going to be the starter, although I think Jameis Winston.
I would have been so much happier with Jameis Winston because the guy's going to throw for 500 yards or throw 5 interceptions, and you're either going to lose, you're going to win by 28 or lose by 30.
Mm-hmm.
But at least it wouldn't be boring.
And it's exciting.
And his post-game interviews are.
His press conference is going to be great. Exactly.
Like he's the funniest person, and he's the most.
His press conferences are great.
And it's like I would have been fine with that. Like, we're just gonna roll the dice, and you're either gonna get snake eyes or double sixes every week. And I'm like, and then we can draft Travis Hunter, and he can either catch the ball from Jameis Winston or tackle the guy that intercepts the
That
ball
intercepts the
because
ball.
he's a quarterback. I'm like, that would have been fucking perfect. Like, we would
Look,
have it.
it was known to me, and those of you that want to watch sports or talk about sports or think about sports or anything else, please, I implore you to watch tomorrow night at around 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. The Get On With It sports podcast will be on
You
talking
should have
about
Charlie
this.
on that too.
Charlie should come on and talk about that too. But in any event, when I saw what the contract for Jameis Winston was, 2 years, $8 million, that's backup quarterback money. That's not starting quarterback money.
Yes.
That's backup quarterback money. So
Well,
there,
no.
right there and
remember
then,
that-
I knew damn
wait,
well they were
Time
going
out,
after either
time out.
Russell
We're
Wilson
still
or
paying
waiting on Aaron
starting
Rodgers.
quarterback money to someone who's
No, they
what,
caught
on the
him. They
Colts.
cut him.
He's on the Colts now.
Yeah, but it's pittance. It's actually more money than Jameis Winston is making, but it's not a lot of money. It's not. It's like I think it's like $14 million, and that's it. I get it. I get it.
Just 14 million.
Yeah.
Well, for the three of us, it's a lot of money, but for them, it's not. That's the point. But
Yeah,
regardless
still.
of that, look, they still, no matter who they sign, that they'd be paying that money anyway. It doesn't matter. But,
I would have been fine with cheaping out and going with Jameis Winston and just having a crazy ass
But
season
this-
because at least it would have been entertaining.
entertaining, right? But this move to me,
Me too. Plus, I want that draft pick next
this
year.
move to me told me what this move to me right now, what signing Russell Wilson tonight tells me that they are not drafting a quarterback in the first round. They're drafting Travis.
No,
they're drafting Travis
no
Hunter or
chance.
Abdul Carter, but it's probably gonna be Travis Hunter. Maybe they'll take a quarterback in the second or the third round, a project they can work on, whatever, and go from there. But I think they got their eyes at this point set on Arch Manning next year, like the Eli's nephew, heir apparent kind of thing. I think that's where they're going with this. Maybe they'll try to win.
I love it. I love
that,
it.
but I just think they're gonna have to.
I love
I
it.
think they're gonna-
I love it. I love it. I love
they're gonna have to
it.
give up a lot to get him. I think.
Yeah, they're gonna have to give up a lot.
Let's have Manning.
They're gonna have to.
No, or we just suck this year and it's fine.
Right.
Who
Well, if they suck
cares?
this
But I
year,
think
though,
they would have
if they-
sucked better with Jameis.
But if they suck this year's the thing, though.
I
If they
know.
suck-
So, like, we're
Well,
fucking up the
maybe.
plan,
I get it. But if they
Wilson's like our age. You realize like he's in our generation.
Oh, he's younger than us. He's younger than
he's younger than you guys too. So,
Yeah.
but
I
Here's
know.
the
Is he, I don't even think he's 40 yet.
no, he's 36, something like that.
Yeah.
35, 36. He was
He's old.
drafted in 2012 or 2013. So he's 22
Hey,
in 2013.
Brady played for another like 11
So he's
years.
30.
right? And
He's 30.
No,
He's 34.
Brady, but
He's 34, 35.
Jesus. So
He's
Brady.
34, 35.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If they suck this year to get that pick, organically, right, next year, Dable and Shane are gone. So who's bringing this guy along? That's the question, right? Unless
So I like Dable. Couldn't give a fuck less about Joe.
I would rather get rid of Shane, keep Dable, bring another GM in if that's what they have to do. But Shane had a good draft.
So I like
Shane had a
Dable.
good draft.
I don't.
He fucked up with Barkley, but you know what? Barkley was not going to have the year he had with Philly with the Giants. That was not going to happen.
No,
matter
not even
what.
close.
We have no line to run behind. You're gonna run behind
That's the
nothing.
problem is we're arguing over like who's
You're gonna run behind paper. You can't run behind paper.
Joe
who's
Shane
gonna be
did-
the quarterback, and
Right.
you need to build a line. Otherwise, whoever's
Right.
back there is just.
But
gonna
they
get
did.
massacred.
They've made some moves in free agency, so they've done that, right? They've addressed it to a point, right? They obviously have to address it a little bit more. And if Andrew Thomas can stay healthy, that's fine. Anybody out there just wanted to pay attention to a beer podcast? Sorry, this is switched to sports, or at least specifically Giants, for a moment. But
3 passionate Giants fans. So That's
Exactly.
just the way it is. So we
But-
can probably take this offline if you want to finish the podcast. but-
exactly. So.
But
But regardless of that, look, here's the bottom line. This is what I know. No matter what happens this year, no matter where they go, no matter what they're winning or losing, or it doesn't matter, the three of us at some point or another are going to be together drinking and having cigars in the parking lot before a game. So I know. I
Yep.
can't say the three of
I
us.
am
The
not
four
mad.
of us, because Brian is on here too.
I am not mad at that.
Not at all.
in the
And
slightest.
Brian did say, Brian Book did say he packaged the Monster Mash to give to his friends. I love you, Brian. He said
we should probably just have a little bourbon too.
we
Just to
should
make
probably
sure
have a little bourbon with that too.
we cover
Yeah,
all our bases.
Exactly.
Brian's only like half a row over and maybe, I don't know, 30 spots away from us.
Well, yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I mean, the tailgate is like. Our
Like
I
tailgates
just
have
said we
always
walk
been
back
close.
and forth. Matt and I last time we were in a
Yeah.
Giants game together, we walked back and forth, and he's happy.
No, it's not. It's only like 30 spots. It's
He's
close.
happy with the choice. No wasted money. I agree with you, Brian. I do agree with that too. And he said he does not want Aaron Rodgers. Never.
Well,
Neither did
I mean,
I don't think
never,
anybody
never,
did.
never.
if Russell Wilson was the choice to make sure that we don't get Aaron Rodgers,
I'm fine with that.
then I'm on board. Because fuck that. Pardon my
And
French, but,
I will put this out there. I will be at a wedding this Saturday. All right, it's my cousin's son's wedding. All right, one of the bridesmaids in the wedding is dating Tommy Cutlets. All right, so
Tommy
Cutlets. So at some point, I will grab an old fashioned or a Manhattan or whatever the hell I'm drinking while I'm there, and I will walk up to him and I'll have a little sit down with him.
wait, does that mean when they announce the bride and groom, everyone's gonna in the room?
Everybody's gonna go like this. Yeah,
This?
exactly. So, but I'll see what I not to piss him off, but I'll see what he has to say. I want to get his opinion on what's going on, because right now there's 3 quarterbacks on the Giants: Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Tommy DeVito.
I mean, he can't
Listen,
have a legitimate.
If DeVito loses his job, we're in deep shit.
I mean,
I agree.
Because that means we have a 4th quarterback that we don't
when
want.
you're that guy though, like, do you really have? You don't have delusions that you're going to be the starting guy or anything. Like you're Tommy DeVito. Like,
I don't think
your role.
I don't
No.
think he thought that before. Anyway,
No.
I really don't.
But if he's dropped, that means we draft somebody that we don't want.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's a problem.
Yep.
So we're all begging for him to keep his job.
Exactly. At this point, he might as well just, they may as well just let it go, ride with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, not draft a quarterback, get best available. Now, here's the thing, and I'll be honest with you. If for some reason the Giants get to the 3rd pick and Cam Ward is available, fucking draft him. It's not going to happen.
I guess, but what are we going to do with all of them?
They'll cut Tommy DeVito.
Cam Ward is either going to get.
No, it's not going to happen.
Drafted first by the Titans.
I know
he's
it's
going
not
to get
going to happen.
drafted first by whoever the Titans trade the pick to.
It's not going to happen. I know it's not. I'm just being hypothetical. If for some reason they get to the 3rd pick and Cam Ward's available, draft him.
He was already like probably the best pick in the draft, and then he went into the combine and killed it. So everyone's like, "Ooh, Cam Ward." Like that's what they're doing. They're ready for it. So it's all up to the Titans. The Titans are either going to take him or trade the pick so someone else can take him.
That was Tommy DeVito after the Pittsburgh Giants game in Pittsburgh last year. I was sit there. I said
maybe he can back up Aaron Rodgers then.
He can back up Aaron Rodgers on Pittsburgh. Yeah, well, that was after the Giants game, but yeah. Look, I don't think that's going to happen. I honestly don't think the Giants are taking if they take a quarterback, it's going to be a 3rd rounder, a project that they can put on the practice squad and work with. Tommy DeVito's still number 3, and they're going from there. I believe that's what they're doing this year. They're riding with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston as his backup. Tommy is 3rd. That's what I think. And we'll get Pete's and Harry's opinion on it tomorrow night on the sports podcast. If either of you want to jump on or at least comment in, please let me know. Come right in, and we'll discuss it further. Brian, as you as well, you can come on. Al's been on the podcast, so you guys can come on as well. Anyway, but back to beer for a moment. Charlie, yeah, that's what this is, right?
Oh yeah, beer.
Beer.
Like beer.
Remember the beer?
Yeah, I like beer.
Exactly.
I mean, I've been taken over by a dog.
Yeah,
we
got lots of dog butt going on.
See that. Okay. So Charlie, before we wrap up, what's coming up on the docket for Cypress? What's coming up? Your birthday, the anniversary of this year, new beers. What's events you're doing?
Yep, April 12th is the animal shelter event, and then our 10th anniversary is either going to be the last week in June or the second week in July. We haven't 100% scheduled it yet.
Are you
And,
brewing 10?
yeah, of course.
Oh
Well, it's
I was
already
gonna
brewed.
say it has to have been brewed a while ago.
I was going to say you brewed it
It's
already.
just chilling in a
All
barrel.
right, I
right
shall
now.
say
Yeah,
it
it
differently.
does.
Have you brewed 10? How's that? There you go.
Yeah. Yes, it has been aging for quite some time.
And that's last week in June or second week in July. So pay attention
Correct.
to Cypress's social media and socials for that, and make sure you get there. If you get there on the Saturday of their anniversary party, you may very well see Matt and I there, and maybe Dave,
Small chance.
small chance of Dave, small chance. So, but
Probably a lot of other brewers.
probably a
Too.
lot of other brewers as well. Exactly.
You can come meet your favorite brewer.
Come meet your favorite brewer anniversary party.
Hey, we have enough time to have the collab ready for the anniversary.
That's very true. That's very true.
That is true, and we can serve it.
Yeah.
There you go.
And we're definitely going to have root beer floats, and probably, I don't know. I'm making the Dr. Pepper. I'm making the Dr. Peppers tonight. I think this is going to be. I think it's going to be
probably one of the
stupid.
best root beers I've ever had. I love root beer. I mean, I'm an A&W guy, but like
He is an A&W guy. Gotta have him.
like your root
I-
beer is pretty fucking.
I
fun.
think this Dr. Pepper is going to. I think this Dr. Pepper is going to take
I've
it.
never been a Dr. Pepper guy though. I love root beer, but like the craft root beer you make has always been bomb. So
I'm using like 22 ingredients.
Jesus,
Oh, jeez. There you go.
got some coriander in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. All right. Any parting words, Charlie, before we sign off?
No, thank you very much for having me. It's much
It's
appreciated.
been a long time coming. It's been 5 years that we like. When are we having Charlie on? When are we having Charlie on? Well, we should do it when Matt's coming.
Well, I don't know. I guess it's because I don't make lagers.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Yeah. Hardly anyone makes lagers. It's
I honestly, if you go back over the 200, this is the 222nd episode we've done. If you go back over 222 of them, I would imagine we've probably had more ales on this show than lagers. Yeah. But anyway,
always great to see you, buddy.
absolutely. Stick around. We're
We definitely have
Likewise.
to have some beer soon. It's been way too long.
100%. Yeah, Matt and I'll come up. We'll he may get there before me, but we'll definitely come up together.
Yeah, try to come for the animal shelter event. That's always a good
I'll
time.
come.
See how I might be able to come late. I have a birthday party to go to at noon, but
Yeah, I'm a little busy 2 weeks after that, so I'll be in Long Island for something that's going on. I don't know, that weekend there.
shit, I'll be there too.
Yeah, you will. So, but in any event, yeah, there'll be a lot.
I got a hotel I could walk to the venue from.
There you go.
Apparently the rooms were sold out of the official hotel, so I got a closer hotel.
You did.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have told me. I would have. Well, because there's an after party at the tavern in the hotel.
Oh well, whatever. Well, I can Uber if I need to.
We'll work it out. We'll figure it
I'm
out.
not really that worried about it.
There
but
you go.
I can
Cool.
walk. I can check in at 3, throw
And-
my suit on,
And walk over.
and walk over and still be at
Mm.
like the actual thing by like 3:30. When
There
the
you go.
thing starts at 4. So
4 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. So.
Anyway,
All right. Charlie, stick around. We'll talk to you after it. On that note, we will wrap up the show for today. Want to thank everybody for watching. For those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGEROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with a video podcast on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host, Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Pandora, Amazon Music Podcast, iTunes Music, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Castbox, Deezer, Podchaser, Listen Notes, YouTube Music. Pretty much anywhere you can find audio podcasts, you will find the Lager Room Guys Craft Beer Podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Charlie, thanks so much for coming on.
wait, one last word.
Go for it.
If you're not doing anything on April 12th, let's go down. Let's get over to Cyprus and let's get them over that $1,000 mark.
Yes.
For the first time.
Yes. We'll
Let's
post.
go.
We'll share.
Yeah.
We'll share anything that Cyprus.
For the
Yep.
babies.
We'll
For
share
the-
anything that
for all
Charlie
the
and
pets.
Cyprus shares on their socials. We'll put it up on the log room as well. But yeah, let's
She's up for adoption.
Look at what a darling she is.
look at
that.
her. Look at her. Look at her.
She's just a cuddle monster.
She is.
She is. She's up for adoption right now.
There you go.
She's available next Saturday.
There you go. All right.
Next Saturday. She has to stay with me for 14 days.
Nice.
All right. All
Yeah.
right. So make sure you get down there. Check out Cypress Brewing on Facebook and anything that they post. And of course, their website or anything else. Anything they post on this date on April 12th for the adoption thing or the fundraiser thing. And of course, anything else going forward. And their anniversary party as
And
well.
if you drink just about any beer in Middlesex County, thank Charlie. So
Absolutely, yeah. if you drink 80% of the beer in Middlesex County,
Yeah.
Thanks, Charlie. There you go. Anyway, stick around, Charlie. Again, thanks for along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we will talk to you next week, folks. Take care. Cheers.